Now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Digital Fiasco Live. And we're on an hour early tonight.
Yeah. Oh, God, I can barely stay awake. It's so early.
I was going to say, you look like you're feeling it right now. Of course, my name's Dandr0id.
And I'm Jack McBastard. Or at least I think. It's so early, I can't tell.
You're still waking up.
It's true. I had a nice nap earlier, and it did not help me. Typically on Mondays, there's like at least a good few hours of writing to just clean up whatever notes I'd made during the week. And today, being an hour early and needing that nap, daylight savings time is killing Jack. Right? It's been months.
It's been months, but it's still affecting.
Yeah, I fell back. Those fuckers. Or spring forward, whatever. See, I'm so tired. I don't even know what fucking season it is. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
It's a Monday. It's a goddamn Monday.
You can only expect so much.
I literally woke up this morning. I was having a dream, and in my dream, you ever have those dreams where it's like you're dreaming and you're not aware that it's a dream? It's just reality. It's just your day. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I had this great dream, and it's like, you know, it's like, oh well, at least Wednesday's over. My week's almost done. And I get up, and it's like fucking Monday. And I'm like, you bastards.
At least Wednesday's over.
Right.
You dreamt about Wednesday of all days.
It snuck it in, right? I wasn't reaching for the moon. I wasn't like, oh, it's Friday already. Because my mind would reject that.
Yep.
Daylight savings time is killing us all slowly, one day at a time.
Yep. Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, it was like just nice enough, but not too nice that my mind rejected it.
You went with something reasonable and still failed.
I really wish it had been Wednesday, but no. So, what have you been playing?
God of War.
Of course you've been playing God of War.
Because there's, someone else that wants to borrow it, so I'm trying to finish it as fast as I can. So, unless the side mission that kind of comes up and stuff like that really piques my interest, I just kind of let it go the wayside. Yeah. Unless it's like right fucking there, then I'll do it.
There are a lot of really good side quests in that.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's one of the things I really liked about this is when you're playing that game, when they present you with a side quest, it feels like it's part of the main mission. Like it makes sense in that world, and it actually makes it entertaining. It isn't just like, go to this field and kill 10, whatevers. Like, it's, just kind of bullshit stuff like that. Like, every side mission in that, like, especially the one with, I don't know if I should say spoilers for stuff or whatever.
It's been a while. As long as it's not too
I'll just say something to do with dragons. They're side quests, and they are awesome.
Something to do with dragons. You're playing shuffleboard with the dragons.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Pretty sure in a God of War game, the interaction with the dragon, I think we can attach a verb to it.
Are you telling me that you would not play shuffleboard with dragons? Like really giant shuffleboard?
Yeah, I'm going to safely say that I would not play dragon shuffleboard.
Why not? That would be fun.
I mean, if it didn't boy out 50-foot robot golf, I mean, where you're literally destroying a city in a giant mech, and that somehow turned me off, I can't imagine doing a sport that I don't like in a way that makes no sense.
But it's Kratos, and it's Sony Santa Monica. So.
I guess. That would just make him angrier. All right. So anyway, so you're going around, like, square dancing with some dragons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, basically it's like some of the side quests I have gone and done because they are that entertaining, or because like I started on them like, well, I'm already like halfway through this one, so I might as well just finish it.
It makes sense.
But yeah, again, it's like even doing those, you feel like you're doing something for the main mission, which that's an amazing thing that is rarely seen in games. And then as far as the main mission goes, I don't know how close I am to the finish, because Boy keeps commenting on how he's sad that the journey's almost over. But he's said that a few times now, so I'm like, I don't know if I should even believe what he's saying.
What was the last major thing you did?
Again, no spoilers, but I flipped the thing.
You flipped the thing.
The big thing.
You're getting there.
Okay, that's what I figured.
You're getting there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. I flipped the thing, and
that wasn't a dragon.
I'm gonna guess like it's about 3/4 done then, or something like that.
Ish.
Because as far as my weapons and armor and my upgrades and my abilities are going, I'm almost like fucking full jacked on like all of that stuff. So,
well, when you're right near the end, you'll fucking know it.
Oh yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah. So there's that.
But yeah, overall, I found the game. It was interesting at first because it's another God of War game, so
Yes.
obviously it's has like a different tone and everything going in. Like I started playing it and I was just like, okay, this is cool, this is good. Like I'm getting a lot of vibes of, I said, like, Horizon Zero Dawn. There's a bit of Skyrim in there. It's like all Norse mythology and all that kind of shit.
Right,
so
right.
so obviously it leans on some of that stuff, and even Darksiders too, because that's very like Norse mythology and a lot of its stuff too.
Kind of in places.
But yeah, like as I was going on, I almost felt like there was like a bit of a lull in part of it, because I can't even remember like what part it was, but I was just like, okay, like there's got to be something here that's like bogging me down or making me not believe in this thing right now.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think back as to what it was, but I don't know. Maybe it was just because I had gone astray on some side missions and things kind of slowed down a little.
Yeah, if you go Golden Path, just mission to mission to mission, it moves around at a pretty
yeah,
good clip,
exactly.
so.
Because I think what happened was as soon as I kind of dove back into that, all of a sudden shit just picked right back up again, and I was just like, oh yeah, fuck yes, and I just kept going.
Right.
And especially just some of the stuff you find along the way and some of the weapons you get to play with and stuff like that is it's pretty awesome. So,
yes.
Yeah. That I
Yes.
think that was a big moment for when my brain was just like, fuck yes.
Yes, that was literally the words that came out of my mouth. There is a particular scene, not to spoil it for people who want to play Dragon Shuffleboard,
Yeah.
where
But you got to play Dragon Shuffle.
right, where something happened that I had expected to happen, and not only did it happen in such a way that I expected to happen, that other character shows up.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's just the whole way it's done, right? And he unwraps the bandages, and it's like, and it's just so good. And it all happens in real time as he travels by boat.
Yeah.
And it's like, gives you this long moment to ponder the weight, like this decision, this big decision. It was such an excellent moment in the game.
Yeah.
And largely without dialogue.
Yeah, it's very well done. Again, the visuals are right on point. It was just so amazing.
James Marine says it's something to do with dragons, was the name is a D&D themed improv group in college. And that explains a lot. James Marine. Mankill Destroy said there's no need to rush my God of War 4 if Captain McBastard gives me Far Cry.
Yeah.
First of all, fuck you. I'm not a lending library. Second of all, the real question is, does Teal'c say indeed? I did not hear him say it once. Apparently someone else did. I think they were just filling in the gaps in their head.
It might have been.
Personally, if I had been, Cory Barlog, I would have been right up there. Like, he never fucking says it. Never. Not even once.
That might have been it too. I mean, he might have been in there saying that, but
because there was all kinds of places in the dialogue where he, instead of saying it, there was just a pause, and I just filled it in mentally, like, indeed. It's like, no, he's not Teal'c. He can't make that connection. So obviously you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the only thing that I'm surprised by so far, and I'm sure they're kind of holding this back for the latter games.
Yep.
Is there haven't really been any gigantic boss fights.
Okay.
And that is kind of shocking compared to the history of the previous God of War games.
Right.
And they just kind of threw those at you like throughout the entire game, and they got bigger and better as the games went on. Whereas this one, I think they might be holding that back just to have some content for the later games and really think about how to do a big boss battle with that creatively.
Well, they definitely they didn't. They wanted to keep the game very personal, like the stakes very real.
Yeah.
So you run into certain boss fights that are much more grounded in the story than just, here's another thing to kill.
Right, yeah.
So I think they did a very good job on not like making a small game, but making the scope small enough that it's personal, but large enough that there's still variety.
Yeah.
So I think they did an amazing job. I can't wait for a sequel, since obviously they're not doing any DLC.
Yeah.
Or apparently, because
hey,
I don't know
if
why.
it gets them that much faster and closer to bringing out a second one, I'm all for it then.
Well, I mean, they already did, like, they made the engine over however many fucking years. So, I mean, right now, if they just, wouldn't take too much.
And from the sound of it, it sounds like the second and third game are basically going to be using the same map and stuff. It's just you have your different gateways to the different realms.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it up and added some extra areas. And stuff.
Like a mountain falls down, and there's a path through to like a new place or something like that.
What about the changing water levels, like exposing stuff too?
Yeah, and that's really cool too, because
crazy.
it's like, again, it's like taking the same map but then just repurposing it in different ways, and they do a really good job of that. Oh, and probably my favorite thing so far is that a lot of the puzzles are very organic, and they are very well done. They're not ridiculously hard, but they're not stupidly easy for the most part, except for like some of the early ones, because they just want you to kind of learn the mechanics of it. But even when I come across like a rune chest or something like that, I get excited. Like, I want to solve that puzzle. It's not just an annoying thing that's in my way.
Game 2 is when they put it in Kratos' crazy crate corner, and that would be a little bit too, white supremacist with that spelling, Tron. I would not expect Sony Santa Monica to do that somehow. All right.
Yeah, and then about my only other thing is it's unfortunate that there's such a difference between easy mode and medium mode, because I started playing the game on medium, and I found myself kind of getting bogged down in certain fights and stuff like that, and I was just like, you know what? The easy mode is called Give Me a Story for a reason.
Yeah.
Because in medium, I just found myself getting more frustrated than I should in a God of War game.
You really have to treat it more like an RPG with customizing your different gems and whatnot.
And that's the thing is, I don't do well. Like I don't do well with that. I like all this just instant stuff that I don't need to think about. It's in the background. It's stat boosters and stuff you don't have to activate and everything. And I'm not good with managing a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I really appreciate that all of that content is in there. Yeah. And I appreciate that they have a very, very, very deep combo tree of all the different weapons and stuff like that. But I don't use half of it because I forget that it's fucking there. So I ended up switching about halfway through. I switched to easy mode, and I'm enjoying it more. Yeah. Because not only am I going through it at a normal pace now and not getting frustrated at certain fights, but I also feel more like Kratos now and less like Dark Souls.
Okay, so just for fun, a little bit later, go fire it on God of War difficulty. And fight any Valkyrie.
No.
Yeah, so,
I'm losing horrendously to I just beat the 3rd Valkyrie last night. Yeah. And any other one that I found 3 of the other, of the 8, I think, or whatever. Yeah. No.
Yeah, you're going to have to spend some time on Muspelheim and Niflheim to be able to even approach the strength you need to be to fight those Valkyries.
I thought that they would just kind of go naturally throughout the game. I beat the first 2 almost no problem. And then I found, because you get the ability to open those doors, I found like 5 other Valkyries. Yeah. They all just fucking crush your head like instantly. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's a bit of a difference here. A bit of a spike in the difficulty level after the second one.
They are designed to be post-game content.
Yeah, obviously. So, I thought that they would just kind of naturally level, but they do not. They are like, I've beat the entire game and found everything in the game. Now I'm going to go fight these things.
No, they naturally level you. That's about it. Yeah. All right.
Especially the ones you have to fight your way out of them grappling you and stuff. Because holy fuck.
they do have some nice unblockable combos, and a lot of them, all their combos are different. Then when you fight, there is a final, like a high Valkyrie to fight.
I figured as much because they have like a council or something. Yeah. So yeah, that one. I really enjoyed that they actually put that much thought into it, because every single arena you fight them in, every single Valkyrie, they all look different, they all act differently, they sound different. Like, they didn't just take 8 of the same model, sprinkle them across the map, and say go fight them. Like, they actually they have character, they have their unique fighting abilities, and it's just they did a really good job with that.
I'd be interested to see the stats on people with that, like which trophy was their last one, and I guarantee you is fight the final Valkyrie.
It would have to be basically, unless you are so good at dodging and so
not even then
patient that because then you're in that Dark Souls territory of the people that beat it like naked with a club kind of thing. Like, it's about dodging and timing and patience, about like, I can only hit him at this specific point, and you keep doing that. Like, you fight the thing for 30 minutes, but you killed it.
you can only take like 1 or 2 hits from it at the best of times.
Yeah, exactly.
So plus your resurrection stone, maybe 3, maybe 4, but it's tough. It's rough.
But either way, thoroughly enjoying it.
Okay.
And what have you been playing?
Well, since you weren't here last week, I was talking to Daniel, the other Dan.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him. I've been playing a lot of Metal Gear 5.
Oh, okay.
And I actually been playing it on the PC. So now I've seen like the full 4K.
Oh, did you mod it?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's
because there are some
eventually.
awesome fucking mods for that
But
game.
you know what I did do is I got the key off of G2A. So thanks, Konami. The thing that I said I would never ever do.
You gave them money.
If it's the choice between giving money to Konami and
Or
giving
the
it to
mafia.
someone, giving it to someone who theoretically has stolen a credit card and defrauded Konami,
Yeah.
then I think the choice is clear.
It's the lesser of two evils.
It kind of is. It kind of is. So I've been playing that on PC, and I mean, for all I know, it's legitimate. I'm sure G2A is a legitimate business, allegedly.
Allegedly.
They've not yet been sued successfully, so.
That's successful.
I'm just saying, till the RIAA shuts them down.
Yep.
They're still a legitimate business. So I've been playing. I played that for a long time. I'm only I don't know, a quarter of the way into the game.
Are you doing like everything along the way then?
I was thinking about this. I don't know if I'm going to go back and do like the S rank on everything, but I've been getting like fairly high ranks and a lot of stuff.
But like the side missions and stuff like that
I'll do
too.
all that stuff.
Okay.
I mean, shit, fuck it. I mean, it's a fun game. It's a good sandbox to play in. But it's a heavy grind if I wanted to, platinum it, or the Steam achievement equivalent. So I did that one, and I actually also went on to Subsurface Circular, which is that one by...
I have no idea what that is.
I'm surprised you never heard of this. This is by Mike Bithell, the guy who did Volume. He did Thomas Was Alone.
Oh, so it's a stealth-based game.
Not at all.
No?
You play a robot in a underground train, and you are a detective, and you have to solve a mystery. But you are a robot who only talks to other robots, and you can't get off the train. And it's literally you talk to these robots that come on and off the train.
It's Murder on the Orient Express, except with robots? Or?
Kind of, yeah. Except, it's a bigger mystery. It's not just, a murder mystery, but there is a mystery. There is, some disappearances that are going on. There's a whole thing. And it's all like a text adventure parsed through the eyes of this detective robot on a train.
Oh, okay.
So it's very interesting.
They should have called it Detective Robot on a Train. I might have actually heard of it then.
Maybe, but I mean, it does stand out. So actually, it's kind of funny, and we'll talk about it later. He actually released a sequel to it, like this week, randomly out of the blue.
Okay.
So it's like it is a tiny, tiny game. It was only done by like 4 or 5 guys between their major releases.
So is it like a 4-hour game or something?
It's a very small game. Yeah, I think 6 or something hours. It's
okay. All right.
Very small game, but it's also very, very small price. So you know in advance how much time it's going to take to finish the game, and what to get out of it. And people are they've been raving about this one for a month. So when it came up on sale, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try it out.
So it almost sounds like the first one is more or less a chapter and less a game unto itself.
Well, I mean, it's like a text adventure kind of thing that, it's got a graphic overlay and robots come on and off and they react and stuff, but it's all, it's all very basic, but cool. It's a very good game. So played that one for a while. And of course, last week, Detroit Become Human came out.
Of course, yes.
And I can say now, without a doubt, out of all of Quantic Dream's games, this is the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it more than Heavy Rain, which I think was the high water mark up until now.
I'm pretty sure it was, because I know that you had liked
Beyond
Indigo Prophecy, except for the ending.
Indigo Prophecy.
And then you had like certain things about Beyond, but I think as a whole project, Heavy Rain had the most of it together.
Yeah, Heavy Rain was good. I liked Heavy Rain a lot. This one I like a lot more.
Yeah.
And not just because it's like the subject matter, it's very much more a realized sci-fi, but grounded in reality. So on top of that, of course, you have some well-known or visually well-known stars, like the main character whose name I did not know and still cannot think of at the time. I've seen him in a million things as a character actor. I knew like Valerie Curry is in The Tick. She plays Arthur's brother. Clancy Brown is in it. Lance Henriksen is in it.
Yep.
And depending on what you do, Lance Henriksen isn't in it for long, but he is in the game. And of course, Brian Deckard, who's like all over Twitch and Twitter now, he's the main guy, Connor.
Right.
And he's like probably the most interesting of the 3 characters.
Because I think you had reposted that he went live with the game, like he was playing it on Twitch or whatever. So
it's kind of funny actually to promote the game shortly before its release. He was actually dressed up as Connor.
Yeah.
And like taking people through the game and like pressing buttons and stuff. It was pretty cool. So, no Lance Reddick.
No Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick is in the other Sony franchise, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
And that game was made 50% cooler by his presence. But no, Lance Henriksen was in this. He was an artist, I think. And the robot, one of the main characters, was his I won't say manservant, but he was like a...
Well, it's what they're there for.
Right.
They keep you company in the house. They get you, food and drink, like that kind of thing. Like,
but he ended up being like the equivalent of Robot Jesus. He was like the and the whole thing, the death, the resurrection, the whole bit, And it's interesting because in the game, much like Heavy Rain, of your 3 characters, they can die. Like you can, and the story will continue. But if some of them die, you're probably going to get a little less story.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if you have 3 main characters and one of them is carrying part of the story, you're going to lose maybe not a third of the story, but maybe some other people kind of fill in some of the blanks and whatnot.
Yeah, some things change hands, like some of the mystery falls by the wayside. You're obviously not going to get the best ending if people start dropping off.
Right,
but,
yeah.
It's interesting because... The main character, I won't say the main character, but
Tron said spoilers. Now we know there's a Robo Jesus.
I know, right? Yeah, well, you won't know why. But so anyway, Connor is like a police detective, and he's trying to solve these murders. Like these deviants are starting to kill humans, and no one knows why. So he is like the guy sent from CyberLife to partner with the reluctant Clancy Brown, who hates robots. So I didn't know that at first. I know Clancy Brown was in it, but he is actually like all through the game. He's like your partner. So he is like the man to your machine, as the old Yancey Butler television
is
show.
It as close and buddy-like as that Fox show that didn't go anywhere? Or...
It depends on what you do, but probably not.
Okay.
Like he starts off actively hating you.
Okay.
Like, and he actually, depending on what you do, he can shoot you very early in the game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You just keep pushing his buttons, and he'll just fucking straight up shoot you.
Right. But depending on what you do, Connor, because he's made by CyberLife, he is like kind of like a Cylon. He will download again and again and again.
Oh, okay.
So there's actually a place where there's like a Connor graveyard at some point, depending on what you do in the game, right? It's got some surprising level of variability. Like you might skip whole chapters depending on what you do, or if you don't.
Well,
get
I mean,
the right
again,
clues
this
and
is
stuff.
why the game took so long to come out and everything too, is because unlike the older projects like Beyond or Heavy Rain or whatever, they had obviously variability in them with multiple characters being able to die and stuff, but they really went the extra step with this one. Is not only can those characters die, but from what we've seen of the game, and obviously you've experienced of the game now, it seems like those kind of conversation trees and stuff are so much deeper and creative now compared to what they used to be.
Yeah, it was a very bold move on their part to like pull back the curtain, and you can actually see both at the start menu and in the game itself, you see the whole flow chart of everything you've done and all the options that you have not yet unlocked. Like they'll be blanked out, but you'll know that there's something in this area you've not yet done. Right. And in a lot of cases, you'll see things that have cross-chapter impacts. So it'll happen now. It's basically like Lee will remember this, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know what it is, so it's unlocked, and it's like, oh, how is this going to come back to fuck me? So it's very cool with the three characters and how they all interweave at the end, and depending on what happens, like there's a lot of different endings. So I enjoyed my first playthrough of it. I've not yet made it all the way through a second time. I've got a few more things to do for Platinum. I don't have to finish the game 18 times like I did with Heavy Rain.
Is that how many endings there are? Or?
I don't know how many endings there are in total. I don't think there is a trophy specifically for getting all of the endings.
I was going to say, because a game that deep and everything, that would suck to have to do that.
Heavy Rain, Heavy Rain took some finagling and save scumming to get all of the endings, because you had to. Oh man, I don't even want to go there. It was fuck that fucking game for Platinum's anyway. Good game, but horrible trophy structure.
Just a quick question for that game too.
Yeah.
have they improved their gameplay at all from the previous games?
I mean, it's pretty much the same.
Like, especially with Heavy Rain, it felt a little clunky at times, and a little kind of like, okay, well, this is happening now. Kind of like you don't really have much of a choice in that. Do you really feel like you have a lot of agency in a lot of the stuff you do?
Oh, well, actually, it's kind of cool because it is set in the context of you being a robot and whatnot. They play with that a lot. Like, you have a scan mode, which is kind of like detective vision, where it'll like highlight,
in the Arkham games or whatever. Yeah,
it'll highlight certain things that are interactive in a certain range. It'll also like if there's like blood on the ground or something else that you need to examine, you'll actually go into a zoom mode and you'll like look at all the things, and you'll do reconstructions as well, trying to figure out like what happened in a particular scenario based on the evidence.
Okay,
largely that's Connor, but Marcus has an equivalent version when he's doing like physical actions. So like he's trying to say guys with guns. You can plot out sort of what the actions that are going to be successful to get up this ramp or whatever.
Oh, okay.
You know, so you can plot it out and like do it successfully. Sometimes it's on a timer, so you have to plan quickly, otherwise you get shot. Things like that. One of the more interesting things is that there are actually action sequences that make use of this, where, especially as Connor, like, you're running after a suspect, and you will be, like, running for a long fucking time.
Okay.
And you'll have all kinds of choices, like, safe, but, slower, or,
more dangerous,
right.
But he'll get catch up or
split
whatever.
The difference. And a lot of them will be kind of like Until Dawn, where you had different QTEs based on, the level of difficulty and whatnot.
Right, yeah.
But it's interesting because you can decide that on the fly through the game. And if you're not, like, maneuvering correctly, too, it will fuck you up as well.
Right.
So you're kind of... there's some active maneuvering as well as this additional sort of Telltale Until Dawn style, Quantum Dream nonsense.
Yeah.
I found it a lot less intrusive than I did in, like, Heavy Rain. Like... Sometimes it'd be, just ridiculous. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, or it would really just throw it in your face. Or like, well,
right.
it's right there. Why don't I just do this instead? But no, it forces you to do that action.
Yeah.
And one more question.
Sure.
Do you crawl on broken glass through a fucking vent in this game? Because that was the worst part of Heavy Rain.
While I do not crawl across broken glass in a vent, you do... crawl through what could be charitably called the robotic version of hell.
Oh, okay.
On broken other robots.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And the circumstances, I'm not going to go into it, but you basically have to put yourself back together. And one of the things that's missing, like you're missing an eye and your legs, and your hearing is fucked.
Okay.
So it's like as you repair stuff, certain things will come back. So, like, your ability to walk or your ability to, like, use your detective vision,
right,
your scan
and all that stuff, yeah.
When you get your hearing back, you can't tell, but all the time it's, like, muffled.
Right.
You put your hearing back in, and it's like, oh, I'm in the middle of a storm, so it's, like, fucking night and awful and terrible, and basically robotic screaming and shuffling and stuff, and it's like, what the fuck?
No, because I remember that was like the one shitty part about Heavy Rain was you following the wind thing through the vent and all that, and then you had to jump through the electrical monkey bars and everything,
and cut your finger off.
And well, no, but that was cool because that was intense.
Was it though?
That was really intense, and you had a choice on how to do it. Crawling through the vent was a forced thing that you had to do, and that was it. Like there was no way around that.
Is the robot devil there? Kind of.
From Futurama?
Kind of. Not in the way you might think.
Oh, because he was talking with the golden fiddle. So.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. As long as you get his hand, you're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Right. Well, I cannot wait to play that one.
By the way, just to let you know, and I won't go into it, but I have access to a pre-release copy of Vampire from
Vampire,
Dandr0id.
Right.
Yes. And I have not yet started to play it, but I can't talk about it until the day it releases.
Okay.
Which historically
doesn't say anything good, but I guess we'll see what happens.
There have been, let's just say that in the past there have been very few times where I have been surprised that a game's whose embargo expires on the day it releases turns out to be good. There's been exactly twice. And yeah.
I'm actually just kind of into that one just because I haven't really watched anything about it, and it just seems like an interesting kind of setup and everything, but I really know nothing about the game. So yeah, it could just end up being you know, a bunch of shit.
I mean, Life is Strange has been good, and Remember Me was good from a design and
technical aspect. I guess in certain parts.
Technical, no, but from a plot aspect, like narratively, it was good. Mechanically, Remember Me was terrible. So I have some thoughts going into this one, and I'm going to try it out, and we'll discuss it later. But at this point in time, I have, you know, reservations.
I look forward to you telling me how good / bad it is.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Because you'll have the first say on that.
Back in the heady days of licensed games, was there ever an Anne Rice's vampire game? There was not.
The only vampire game I ever knew back in the day, outside of like just really cheesy like PlayStation ones, was the actual Vampire the Masquerade RPG.
Oh right, they did do that. It was like Diablo. It was actually pretty good, that one.
Yep.
I mean,
for an old PC game, it was very good.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go further back, there was like vampirism in all of the Elder Scrolls games.
And yeah, if you want to play a really shitty one, you can just play, I think, Dracula on the 3DO. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, on the Sega CD.
Or I think they had it on both. It was like the same game, but just one looked better or whatever.
I don't think it had it for 3DO, but it was terrible regardless.
Yeah, it was
not great.
Fucking terrible.
Blood Rain was decent actually. It wasn't terrible. I don't remember who made that one. I think it might have been, was it IO? No. Blood Rain.
That was less a vampire game and more of like a action slasher game. It played more
like
like
a TNA game.
Well, that too, but it played more like a Platinum Games kind of thing. You just happened to be a vampire female with wicked blades on your arms, and you just went and sliced everything apart.
I would have name-checked Legacy of Kain if I had been you. Yui Bull's Blood Rain. Yeah, that's...
Oh, God.
We're not going there.
That movie's terrible. Okay.
All right. So this is Digital Fiasco Live, episode 29, starting an hour early. And still somehow half an hour late. We are going to talk about all the latest news in PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, and PC gaming. So first of all, we have some announcements coming up. And I think you probably weren't privy to this last week. Bethesda, pardon me, not Bethesda, Devolver has actually added a pre-recorded show, like their wacky show.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to happen at 10 o'clock at night on June the 10th. I don't think we'll still be around at that one because that's a Sunday, but...
yeah, no, that will be a bit late for that. But of course, we can wrap that up the next day in one of the pre or post shows.
Starting early doesn't offset your late starts, FYI, no credit is given. Well... Thanks. I didn't realize that there was like a...
Are you marking us for this? Or?
Is there an over-under? Because
we've been doing this for almost 2 years, and we've never gotten a report card in the mail. So.
That's true. Well, I mean, that's why I don't give them our P.O. box.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want that fucking report card.
He'll send us like 10 report cards.
Oh, it's just going to be like an envelope with a greeting card, and it'll be like, Happy Bat Mitzvah, and you're going to open it up, and it's just going to be feces. That's what I expect to receive in the mail from Tron.
Okay. Well,
anyway.
Don't give him ideas.
June the 9th, EA at 1 p.m. Central Time. And we might have to talk about that June the 9th, that EA day. June the 10th, Microsoft happens at 3 p.m. Central Time. Bethesda at 8:30 Central Time. We'll be covering both of those for sure. June 11th. Squaresoft at 12 noon. We will not be covering their pre-recorded event, even though it will have lots of Kingdom Hearts in it, I am sure. Ubisoft at 3 p.m. We'll probably do a post-show wrap-up pre-Sony show discussion about Ubisoft for those people who have not yet seen it. Maybe we'll do a late catch-up stream. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. We'll definitely be talking about it at some point during that day.
Yep, and Nintendo, June the 12th, will have their briefing at 11 a.m. Central Time. So obviously on June the 11th, which is the Monday, we will not be having a traditional Digital Fiasco Live. We will be having a E3 Sony Night Live, I guess, which kind of goes along the same theme. All right, what do we have this week for the Triple D?
Triple D it's actually cool. There was this game that I've been kind of following for quite some time, but then I kind of lost track of it for a bit, and all of a sudden it came up again, and it's being released. So, there's a first-person horror suspense weird fucking game called Agony.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I don't know what to think about that.
And that's the thing, is I don't know what to think about it. I just know that it piqued my interest because it was something so different and so fucking weird and gory, and like this looks like the type of game that would have come out of nowhere in like the late 90s for PC, and it just would have been from some little indie company or something like that, and it would have flown under the radar, but that allows them to kind of just do whatever they want with it. And with this one, they have definitely just gone in that direction of doing whatever the fuck they want, because it looks fucked.
They went a lot.
They basically explore, I think it's basically they're exploring the 7 rings of hell and you're trying to escape, but there's all kinds of demon and fire and brimstone nastiness in the way, with a lot of gore and nudity and just a whole lot of fucked up imagery. It looks like a really like fucked up like Cannibal Corpse music video or something.
Not wanting to put you on the spot, but there's 9 rings of hell, so they must have cut something out to keep it as DLC.
Well, yeah, that's it. The 8th and 9th ring of hell are DLC.
That's right, premium only. If you buy
them soon,
buy the special edition to get the extra 2 rings of hell.
Yeah.
The GameStop edition. GameStop edition has a special 10th ring of hell.
Held back the rings of hell.
It's almost doing you a favor, really.
And if you're getting tired of playing Stardew Valley, there's Harvest Moon Light of Hope special edition coming out for PS4.
Right.
Because that's basically where Stardew Valley got started, was if you didn't want to play Harvest Moon, you played Stardew Valley.
I don't think at this point, like, does Harvest Moon still have a following that has not been completely co-opted by Stardew Valley?
There are some people that I don't think it's that they've stolen it away. It's just if you were a fan of Harvest Moon back in the day, you just kind of kept playing them because they were just such likable and fun kind of zen-like games. Yeah. So
these are not the ones. These are not the people playing Farming Simulator. You know?
Yeah, no. It's much more lighthearted. It's more like a JRPG kind of thing. But it's just nice to sit down and kind of chill out and just and have that nice little farm and interact with the townspeople and everything. And that's basically what all the Harvest Moon games were like too. So
yeah, go into town, find a wife.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Sure. There's actually a fun little game that I've played on my Android device called Knights of Pen and Paper.
Oh yes,
and this is the +1 Deluxier edition.
Yep, I have that actually on. I have both of them, like the first and second one.
And they're surprisingly fun little games, and I'm glad to see that's actually coming to PS4.
Breaking the fourth wall and everything.
Yeah, exactly. They really have fun with those games. So if you're a fan of like pixel art and D&D, fucking play it. You'll enjoy the shit out of it.
Yep.
We have Metal Slug XX on PS4 for digital download.
So is it double X or is it 20? I'm assuming it's double X because I don't think there's been 20.
It's really hard to tell at this point because there are so many Metal Slug games, but I don't think there's 20. So it might just be XX.
I think it's double X.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the artwork, it actually literally says double X on it.
It literally has 2 X's, but I mean that could be.
No, but I mean it says across it like double.
Oh, okay. It didn't on that cover, anyways.
Okay.
If you missed out on Owlboy on Steam, pick it up on PS4 because that is an excellent indie title. That is a very love-filled project. They spent 10 years making it.
Is that? I thought that was already out for the PS4, or is it now just out? Is it?
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's the retail version. I thought that was like just being released for it now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I haven't seen it either. I have it for Steam. I have not actually played it for the PC or PS4. There are some words. Yep.
The Sega Genesis Classics.
Oh yes, I won't buy that until I know for a fact that Phantasy Star 1 is in it.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing is, make sure that the games that are in it are the ones that you want, because we've seen Sega Genesis Classics go for PS2, PS3, now PS4, Xbox,
and they're
Steam,
not always the same list.
And they're not always the same list. And sometimes you get kind of screwed over. You're like, oh yeah, I love those old games, and you want to play it on your most recent iteration.
Right.
But all of a sudden, oh fuck, they took out Comic Zone or something like that. You know,
I could live without Comic Zone.
I wish that game was easier because I really enjoy it, but it's hard as balls.
Well, I had it it's actually on the Sega, like the Sonic Classics or whatever the
that's
PS3 one.
I had played it way back in the day, and then when that one came back around for PS3, I ended up playing it again. I'm like, wow, I forgot how fucking ball-crushingly hard that game is.
But it has save states, so I can maybe eventually see the end of that fucking game. Yeah. Because it was rough. Rough.
Very cool idea, but yeah, it was just one of those ones that was just so fucking
Sega.
And do you have any other on your list? Because a lot of the other ones that I'm seeing on here are just their indie stuff. But,
Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection comes out.
Do people care about that, though?
It has 12 Street Fighter titles in it.
Oh, sorry. No, when I see a Street Fighter like thing come up these days, it's like, oh, okay, they remastered another one of their old games. But the fact that it has 12 games in it, that's pretty fucking awesome.
It has, I guess it's Street Fighter 1, 2, 3, and Alpha, and various flavors of those.
Okay, so they have the core ones, and then every, like, Turbo 2 Alpha edition.
I mean, here's the thing. I have literally never even seen Street Fighter 1 in an arcade.
Oh, really?
Let alone, like, you know, on a home system. So it'll be interesting to see the original Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it's one where I go, wow, okay, I remember this, on to the next one, please.
Yeah, kind of one of those.
All right, fair enough. So there's that. Far Cry 3 Classic actually comes out if you have the season pass. That's going to come out tomorrow. It'll be available. I don't think it's up for like pre-download, but I really wish it was because I want to play the shit out of that. But here's one that is new, that is just coming out tomorrow, that I think that you would probably like. It's a game called Moonlighter.
Okay, so I did see that go by on here, but it's always hard to tell from time to time because it's just like, here's 30 new indie games. So I'm like, oh, so I can't read all this stuff.
So it is a roguelike that's kind of like Zelda.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the twist is that you are a guy who's running a store for adventurers. So at night, you have to go into the dungeons to kill monsters and whatnot and bring the shit back out, and you sell it. and you set all the prices of everything, so it's all about, you know, the adventurers come in, they see stuff, and you get like a sort of a Sims-like emote over the head about whether, you know, something is too expensive or you're selling something way lower than it should be.
Right. So it's a sim game, but with a Zelda-esque adventure part on it.
So you get better and more advanced as you go through the game, and you're able to bring back more and more and bigger
it's one of those
stuff.
things that's like, oh, do I keep this sword or do I sell it off and make like a wicked profit off of it?
Exactly.
Okay, that's very cool.
It is kind of neat. It's got like a great idea.
Yeah, I'm so gonna play that one. That sounds fucking amazing.
That seems like something that you would enjoy.
Yeah, straight up.
And of course, Quarantine Circular is the sequel to Subsurface Circular, which is now out on Steam. I think it's like $5 or something. So
as you were saying, he just kind of snuck this one out. Yeah. It was just like, here you go. Here's the second part.
It was like on Twitter, he said something, he was teasing something, and then boom, it's out. It's like, oh, shit. So, but the interesting thing is that right up front, he said that it's like a 2-hour game.
Okay.
It is a $5 game. It is a 2-hour game, and it's like a narrative-heavy game. And when you're done, you know, you're basically done.
Right.
So right up front, he's like pretty ballsy about this because it's a small... sort of a snippet of a game, but literally you could finish it within the Steam refund limit. So he's right up front, and apparently only had 2% of people asking for a refund, and so he's hoping to stick to that. So that's pretty good. Like, it's a good game. A lot of people are supporting him. And the idea itself is interesting, so I really hope that it's successful for him.
And that's a really interesting take on it too, because it's almost like he's running his own kind of Kickstarter almost. He's like, here's this game.
Yeah.
I'm putting it right out there. This is what it costs. This is how long it takes to finish. You could technically ask for a refund if you finish it in time, but it sounds like it's written so well that people are just going to be like, no, keep my $5. Please make more of this.
Well, you think about it. Like, you go to a movie, right? 2-hour movie, 90-minute movie sometimes.
Yeah. And,
you know, depending on what the movie is, could be good, could be bad, could, you know, suck horribly. You're going to the VIP theater, that's $20. You go into a shitty theater, that's $10. This is $5 for 2 hours, and you can play it again at some point if you want to. So, I mean, it's a text adventure effectively, even though it's graphic interface. But, I mean, the puzzles and everything in the original game were good enough that I would absolutely drop $5 in a heartbeat to play this one. So.
And being an indie fan myself, I would feel much better giving that $5 to him because he's going to feel that directly. Whereas if you give that $10 or $20 to Hollywood and it gets thrown into their pile of $500 million on the one movie, they don't fucking care. They're just like, let's make another one.
Yeah, they're just going to take that money and make Gods of Egypt too.
Oh, God, no.
And no one wants that.
Please, no.
No. All right. So let's get to the news.
All right.
So Sega has announced that they are remastering Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 for the PlayStation 4. So Famitsu has reported the contents of the remasters will be the same as the original titles, but will run at 1080p at 60 frames a second. So that's awesome. That's amazing. Here's the thing. In Japan, Yakuza 3 is almost done. It's going to be out August the 9th.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so they are not fucking around.
Yeah.
So I guess not having to do much to them from a PS3 to a PS4.
I mean, it's a PS3 game.
Right.
They're not adding any content. They're bumping it up a little.
Yeah.
So yeah, it shouldn't take them, 2 years to remaster one of those games.
At most, they probably have to clean up a couple textures. So, I mean, if it's a quick and dirty prototype style Activision remaster, I'm okay with it.
Well, it's nice to have it all in one place. Because somebody like me who has experienced almost nothing of the Yakuza series, to actually be able to sit down and play them 0 through 6 by next year on one console is amazing.
Well, here's the thing. Yakuza 4 will be out fall of 2018 in Japan, and Yakuza 5 in spring of 2019. They've not yet said if they're bringing them west.
Oh, okay.
We can probably say they will.
With the popularity that they've hit with the other ones, and the fact that they're doing this now, I think it's only a matter of time at this point.
Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami have gotten attention more so than any other game in the series. And it's been going that way for a while now, right? So they're finally getting traction in the West. I can't see that Sega would not bring it here. They fucking better bring it here. I'm just saying. That said, I really hope that they fix Yakuza 3's trophy list. Because Jesus fucking Christ.
That was the one that you said was egregious with the...
Oh my God.
The little claw games and stuff. And
all of the mini games.
Yeah.
There was like a bunch of the Club Sega video games you had to play. So like mini video games inside the game. They had like Fantasy Zone and Boxelios, it was called.
Oh, okay.
And get high scores. Outrun.
Right. Yes.
Outrun. Fucking Outrun. Getting a high score in Outrun. Oh my fucking God. The claw game, I literally can picture them in my head. There was the claw game, the UFO catcher.
Yep.
There was a baseball game where you had to get the high score by literally hitting specific targets in the distance with like a batting machine. There was a whole golf game where you had to get like a hole in one and get under a certain score on the golf game. Fuck.
You got your platinum already. You don't have to platinum it again.
I don't, but at the same time, it would be nice to just, have them all there. But fuck. Anyway. But yeah, 60 frames per second, 1080p, those will be beautiful.
Sweet.
I can't wait for that. Hopefully. So let's talk about, speaking of remastering, we're going to talk about some, illegal remastering. Going back to 2016, there were allegations about a studio, high-res studios. They made this game called Paladins.
Okay.
Which, if you've seen Paladins,
sure have,
and you hold it up next to Overwatch, you might notice some similarities.
I mean, it's akin to the whole Chinese knockoff market and everything like that. Like, they're almost carbon copies of each other. Yeah, I mean, you that streamer Donkey, he's made a bunch of videos about it. Lots of people have made this connection. So anyway, a lot of the heroes kind of looking like... so anyway. Look like, play like, sound like.
Yeah, smell like. So this week, Hi-Res Studios is back in the spotlight because they were promoting... there's a spin-off game called... It's Paladin's Quest, I think it is, or Paladin something. It's something else. It's like a different version of the same franchise, the same characters. They're putting a skin out for this one character, and they literally put it against the background of Overwatch's Lijiang Tower.
Oh my gosh.
Like, literally, it is exactly that background.
So they didn't... Like, they weren't just stealing concepts and, similar
artwork.
Visuals. They were straight up stealing artwork straight from Overwatch.
So it wasn't just, inspired by, this is Overwatch in the background.
Yeah.
So, Paladin's art director explained that the offending advert was created by an overseas partner studio for Paladin's Strike. Paladin's Strike, it was called.
Okay.
And that it hadn't received much in the way of oversight in its content creation by anyone internally at Hi-Res. So they passed that buck over the fucking seas as quickly as they could. They noted the studio would be looking into this immediately.
If it's overseas, they can't do shit anyway. So.
Yeah, Blizzard has yet to comment, but I can only imagine that they are... I would characterize their reaction as displeased.
displeased, sitting on their throne of money, twiddling their thumbs, saying, you better take that down right now, or there's going to be problems.
A lot of people came up with that, and
it's like they were lucky to get away with their game intact, let alone now using art assets directly from Overwatch.
Hey,
they're dancing on a very fine line with Activision Blizzard.
Right, but it can happen to anyone. Like, you remember there was that whole controversy with Uncharted 4. They had a picture up.
And that's the thing, is that shit can happen, but it's one thing to have a game that has nothing to do with Overwatch, but a game that has everything to do with Overwatch, and then start stealing actual direct assets from them. That it does not look good at that point.
Doesn't look good at all, especially when you only find out like after it's out and everyone sees it and whatnot.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Oops. So, new trademark filing in Japan, which you might be interested in. It suggests that Nintendo is getting ready to continue the trend and market an N64 classic console.
Right, yes. So we've been seeing kind of rumors and hubbub about this for about the past half year after they had released the SNES Mini last year. And yeah, I'm absolutely stoked for this, because this is the one that a lot of fans, me included, have been waiting for, because it's one thing to go back and play, NES or SNES or whatever, but the 64 is so different because of it. Some of the games are a bit harder to get your hands on, and it's not the typical thing where you can just plug in, if you're going to run an emulator or something like that, you can't just plug in a normal controller. You need a very specific controller to enjoy most 64 games. So
that's arguable.
Well, just because of the weird button layout of everything. They had 6 face buttons, and it's really hard to mimic that on a Super Nintendo controller or some variation thereof, unless it's like an RPG where you don't need all face buttons facing the same way and all that kind of stuff. You can use shoulder buttons to replace them and stuff. But yeah, I'm glad to see that is moving forward, and it more or less means that that's what we're getting.
According to the website JapaneseNintendo.com, which I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward naming.
Literally straight up Japanese. I don't know how they haven't gotten sued, but anyway, apparently the move could be announced as early as next month. The trademark actually deals with a console, video game program, controller, joystick, and more. So it sounds like the all-in-one.
The whole package, yeah.
Right. And I strongly doubt they're going to go into production and build another N64. But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just hope that they solve the issue with the cords again.
Yeah.
Give us more than 4 feet of cord, you assholes.
Well, you know what? They could easily solve that problem by making their console, what's the word? Virtual.
Yes, thank you.
Just beat that.
The only reason why I think that they gave such a short cord on the original Nintendo Mini there is because they wanted to be accurate to when you were a child and you sat 3 feet in front of the TV and the console was right there.
Right? Feels like it in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, you have to sit on the floor in front of the television.
Yeah, you're
absorbing radiation.
You're 2 feet from the TV, and my eyes haven't fallen out of my head yet. So
fire it up on one of those big wood-paneled televisions from the 1950s. That's like old when you were young. It's like, why is this still here? Jesus Christ. You're only using it because your parents can't lift it to get it the fuck out of the house.
Oh, and it heats the living room. So.
Yes, that's true. That is true. And your brains from inside your head. So speaking of beating a dead horse, let's talk about some loot boxes.
What, do we have to?
Oh yeah. All right. Oh yeah. We have so many loot box related things.
I know. Loot boxes are never going away, and they're always in the news. And
so
we're gonna what are we talking about?
Till we die. Yeah. So after all of the Belgian and
it's time for the loot box.
We need a whole transition and like artwork and a graphic for the background. I think we'll make it a standing segment so we can beat our heads against a fucking wall. So the ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, their president Mike Gallagher was speaking at the Nordic Game Conference and highlighted loot boxes as one of the biggest challenges facing the games industry today. So if you're thinking that loot boxes are just going to go away because a couple of countries have made them illegal, you're fucking just dreaming.
No, because there's money in them, our hills, and they're going to mine it one way or another. So they're just going to find some skeezy legal way to get around it all. And
it's not just about that. It's about the industry's creativity and innovation around monetization tools and business models that is absolutely central to the growth of the industry.
Skeezy legal ways of taking money from children.
Right. So what he first thing he said was he's warning that governments shouldn't seek to classify loot boxes as gambling because it, and I quote, challenges our industry's freedom to innovate and impairs our ability to continuously test new business models which drive creativity and engagement with our audience.
Oh, that is painfully corporate.
Bonus points, though, for using the word engagement in a non-Microsoft statement.
There's about 30 extra words in those sentences that didn't need to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what he is saying. If you get monetization applied properly, it is a good revenue stream that could mitigate some of the losses and maybe make your games a little bit better. You can have a bigger budget. You know, you don't have to worry about if a game doesn't sell 2 million copies on the first week, you shut the studio down. So there is an argument there from a certain point of view. You have to be like Obi-Wan the fuck out of it, but anyway. So he maintains that the position is up to the developer to choose their business model and to shape that model according to instantaneous feedback, and the consumer telling you if something is right or wrong by their participation. So he says those that get it right will be rewarded, those that don't won't.
Will die.
Right. Well, that's basically it, right? Because that's what we see. You see Fortnite, they made $300 million in April. They made $300 million in April. Fortnite made $300 million in April.
Wait, how much did it make?
$300 million.
Forknife made $300 million.
In April.
Fuck. We're in the wrong business, Jack.
We really are. We really fucking are.
$300 million on a free-to-play game.
In April.
There are some games that are full price for a long time that could only dream of making a quarter of that.
March? You know what they made in March? $170 million, which went up to $300 million in April.
Anyway. It's fucking disgusting, actually.
It is. It really, really is. So anyway, he's saying that loot boxes should be regulated much in the same like the ESRB has ratings on stuff. And that's largely what they've done, right? So that's now on the back of a box with ESRB rating.
Yeah.
So let's say loot boxes or some... It won't be gambling. They don't want to put that on. But...
No, it's the same thing. Like even some of the smartphone games that I play, they actually have like a full page thing up front before you even start the game saying, this game's content is parsed out this specific way. There are things that do cost real world money in this game. Do you agree to this before you start playing? Basically,
it was $300 million in April for those asking in the chat. Yeah.
Keep score on that.
300. Yeah. So anyway, so he's, I can understand that. He's saying that what he's warning against, he doesn't want to go to the countries that have like the most strident restrictions and then apply that globally. Because not everyone has the same laws. Not everyone is as worried. Like they're not going to be like Australia and say you can't have drug use, so fuck your game. You don't want to have that, right? So that's a form of censorship. But it's still loot boxes.
It's like financial censorship almost. Like it's like I get it. Okay, yes, you don't take the most like iron-fisted version to bash down loot boxes and stuff because you go like Australia, they are like it's ridiculous how fast they can quash a game there if they want to.
We happy few. They can't even release the game there because
they probably can't even show pictures of it or something. Like it's
because it's all surrounding drug use.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they literally can't release there. So I can only imagine and yet loot boxes have not been a thing there really. Like in terms of
it's because they only have half the games that we have here.
I guess that's true, right? So he's pushing for self-regulation. He says it's worked great for us over the last 20 years. That's the prescription we should use going forward. There's additional things we can do, and we'll look at those over the course of time. But it's only been since April since we implemented the change. We should give it a chance and see how it plays out. So I'm not against a company monetizing their work. That's fine. I'm just against a bare bones experience that you pay full price for hanging on top of that additional egregious microtransactions.
And that's the thing with a game like Fortnite, it's free to play.
It is.
So go ahead.
I'm okay with that.
Charge the fuck out of your loot boxes. It's all cosmetic.
Yep.
And it is a free to play game. And they just found the right formula to make $300 million in April.
In April.
But yeah, it's another thing when
Right.
you go to something like a Star Wars Battlefront 2, charge $80 up front.
Yes, that's Canadian, by the way.
Yes, $80 Canadian, $60 American.
$49.95 American.
And then
Yeah.
have the gall to charge about another 40 to 50 on top of that for extra exclusive packs
Yep.
at day one, and then have loot boxes in it too.
Yep.
It's just fucking egregious.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Well,
That
this
is the
is the-
worst
right.
fucking model.
Well, I mean, this is the industry correcting itself, right? We've seen it now. It's been 8 months. We've seen, like, it comes out of Shadow of War. It came out of Battlefront 2 eventually.
Yeah.
And all the companies are rethinking what their strategies are going forward. So, on that note, Michael Pachter, and I'm going to shock you, Michael Pachter actually said something that I agree with this week.
Oh, shit. Okay, I am shocked already.
I know. Talking about loot boxes.
Yeah.
So, you know, he is what I said last week is like your industry coin flipper, because
Right, yes.
he's more often wrong than he is right. Well, about 50-50, but anyway. He appeared at a recent event held by the Video Game Bar Association in Los Angeles, which I didn't know was a thing, but
There's a fucking association for
for
everything.
video game lawyers or something, apparently. So his quote, and he says a lot of fucking contentious stuff here, but I'm just gonna
Corporate
read the
mumbo
quote.
jumbo.
No.
No?
Pachter, shockingly enough, does not spew corporate mumbo jumbo. This is quite possibly the most real I've ever heard him speak.
Okay.
He says, why are there loot boxes? Because consumers are stupid, and they'll spend thousands of dollars trying to get that hard-to-get thing. If you put it up for sale for $500, they won't buy it. I mean, I actually think the Chinese solution, posting the odds of getting each item, is the right way to do it. This thing has a 1 in 250 chance in the loot box, or you can just buy it for $250. Then people realize, if I have to buy 250 loot boxes for $600 to get it, then they'll just buy it outright. In the U.S., there's a very low probability anyone passes legislations to regulate loot boxes. By the way, this is the part at which I've ceased to agree with
Okay. All right.
Pachter before we get there.
There's a line crossed.
Yeah, this is definitely the line that has been crossed. There's a very low probability anyone passes legislation to regulate loot boxes. The guys in Hawaii are just fucking morons. They're morons. They should not only resign, but they should kill themselves. They're so idiotic. Seriously, they're such morons. One of the two idiot legislators said, I forget the studio, but they said something like, EA shut down my favorite studio in 2005, and I've hated them ever since. He said that on the record. We're going to legislate against loot boxes? What an asshole. By the way, their solution was, loot boxes are gambling. Gambling is illegal under Hawaii law. Therefore, you can't buy a loot box until you're 21. Does that mean you can gamble when you're 21 in Hawaii as well? There's no chance that law is upheld. They're not going to get it passed because someone in that legislature actually went to law school. Somebody in their staff is going to look at that Hawaii law. They're idiots. I don't think any of that stuff happens.
See, it's funny, the way that he just rants on like that, it almost sounds like he was just drunk at the bar saying this. Like, you're never going to get it passed.
Okay, but that said, I agree with him in certain cases. Like, first of all, I don't think there's a way in the U.S. any of this gets passed because, I mean, I don't know if you've looked at some of the laws that have been repealed over the past year.
Yep.
But this here, I mean, it's not a gun, so maybe it does get passed. But I don't think there's going to be a situation like this where a shitload of money is there to be made, and unless Trump takes umbrage with the ESA for some reason.
Well, he has already stood on
violence in video games,
violent video games and stuff like that. So
instead of the NRA, but yeah, I don't think so. Still, like. Gambling, I don't think he's ever mentioned anything about. So.
No, of course, because he probably, well, he technically makes money off it, because doesn't he actually have a casino left or something?
No, he doesn't. And he doesn't make money off of that either, which was the issue. So, no, he does not have Trump Casino anymore.
No, but I thought he had like a few of them or something like that.
No.
But yeah, like the first part, it's unfair to say just gamers are idiots, because what it ultimately comes down to, prime example of that, $300 million in April for Fork Knife. $300
million.
I almost guarantee that 85% of that money that was taken in were kids under 12.
You never know, right? You see a lot of people, you saw that all over YouTube, people like kids would, like this popular child streamers, they'd take their parents' credit card and they buy a bunch of stuff. Oh, I don't know how it happened.
Either that or, you know, it's all just a ploy or a ruse kind of thing, and they're their parents know, but they know that they're getting fat YouTube money from their child. So they're like, yeah, fucking take my credit card. Go spend $1,000 on loot boxes.
For every kid that's out there on YouTube, there's 50 of them watching it that do it themselves.
Exactly, and that's the problem, is that you can't just say gamers are stupid, because A, that's pigeonholing them all as the same thing, and B, it's that you can say kids are dumb until the end of the day, but they're kids. They don't know the right and wrong of that whole situation, which is why a lot of the whole gambling things come up in a lot of the European and Australia and like all that kind of stuff. That's where you get that from the initial thing, because they don't understand that they're basically spending money on digital nothing. That's not going to matter in a year or two. Like it's unfortunate, because he's kind of right, but kind of not, because you still have grown adults that want to drop $1,000 on loot boxes.
Stupid.
Those are the stupid ones.
I just want to go back to the chat. We have Ixarain in the chat. Welcome to the stream. The worst, I'm assuming you're talking about
That's when
Michael
I was
Pachter.
freaking out about just saying that it's Star Wars Battlefront 2 when it was the price tag up front, the DLC, the day one content, and then loot boxes on top. Because I was like, that's the worst. That is by far the worst.
You know what was actually the thing that got me? I didn't buy Battlefront 2. I bought Battlefront 1, and frankly, I think it was a mistake to do so until they released the X-Wing VR missions. And then literally, I never had to play anything else, and that game was worthwhile.
Yeah.
So Battlefront 2 came out, and it was like, wow, this is going to be a thing. It's going to have loot box, it's going to have everything. And it's like, maybe it's going to have VR missions. No.
Nope. No VR.
So they could have done that, and at least then I would have felt, okay about my
justified in your purchase. But no, they didn't have any of that.
No.
And yeah, basically money to burn. And hey, you know what? That's the thing, is if that's your thing, if you're some tech guy, or you're working construction and video games are your thing, and you want to drop $1,000 in loot boxes, I can't say anything different to that, because that is completely your choice. The problem is that you are feeding the monster that is companies like EA and Activision to just make more and more and more of it, and they're going to just become more and more devoid of content until the point where it's going to be like, play your new game, it's free to play, but as soon as you go in, it's going to be like a wireframe of the game, and there's nothing there. Half the options are going to be grayed out, and they're like, start paying, bitch.
That's about it, right?
That's what it's going to come down to, unfortunately, if it keeps going this way.
As long as they have the whales that subsidize everyone else, right, it's going to keep happening.
Exactly.
All right, and I just want to read back this particular phrase. Carnzatron says, I'm sure he's down with the Call of the Battlefields and the Overborns.
Overborns.
Right? So, yeah, that's...
I love Call of Battlefields and Overborns. They're my favorite games. They're huge.
Gearbox probably would have done better if they just called it Overborn. Someone might,
Hey, Paladins is still around.
Yeah,
Battleborn isn't, so...
Paladins had to go free to play, though.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Also, they stole all their shit. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Don't sue me.
Withdrawn.
Don't at me either. All right, so while we're talking about loot boxes, let's talk about Battlefield 5. Because, of course, this week we had the big Battlefield 5 reveal.
Right.
The big trailer, the newest in their franchise. So the
one that had the scary woman in it.
Right. The trailer confirmed it's going to be World War II, as had been previously rumored.
Right.
And it...
but, like, cool alternate reality World War II.
I mean, I'm not sure that it is as alternate reality.
No, I don't think it's as far off as Battlefield 1 was.
I think what they did was they put a trailer together using in-game assets to be ADD friendly for those people who like Fortnite and Overwatch.
Right.
Because it was a lot, like, none of the action was particularly unusual for a Battlefield game, which is always kind of like reality plus, but just the pace of it, like something happened every 5 seconds.
Relentless. It was like a goddamn Michael Bay fight scene.
So they just had to cram everything that could possibly happen in simultaneously to hold your attention. So again, like the Overwatch and Fortnite crowd that EA is like deathly afraid of at this point.
Yep.
Scooping up
That's okay.
$300 million in April.
They can just add a fucking Battle Royale mode to their game, and it's all good.
Not in this one. But just to go through some of the things that they talk about they have, which are kind of different. There's an attrition system where the health bar is in stages, and the way they've explained it is only regens up to the closest stage, not to 100 anymore. So it is like Resistance Fall of Man is what it is.
But are they going to have health packs?
Yeah, like there's
Okay.
health packs. There's medics who can heal you. You can also get revived. The medic revive is faster, but a revive can actually be done by anyone in the squad as well.
Oh,
but you
cool.
don't get as much health.
That's awesome.
That is
I
awesome.
love that they're actually playing
Right.
with that notion again instead of like, because that was the thing is it was an end of an era when
Yeah.
Halo came out and
Yeah.
you had the rebounding health bar.
Right.
Instantly, every first-person shooter known to mankind after that just took that and they were like, yep, fuck it, that's what health is now. You're just gonna have health forever. Just hide behind a barrel for 3 seconds and you're healthy again.
I gotta believe that the people who went back to Call of Duty Classic, which I think came with the special edition, I want to say of Modern Warfare, one of those.
Yeah.
It was like the special edition came with Call of Duty Classic, and when you went back to like the absolute checkpoints and you needed to find health packs, it was a bit of a fucking whiplash moment.
Yeah,
for those
no
people.
kidding. It sounds like this one they're actually they're playing with some ideas in that realm and they're making it more kind of user friendly and they're
Right.
having ideas put into it rather than it being hard like either you have a rebounding health bar
Yep.
or you just have a health bar and then that's it. Like
Yep.
they actually have a few ideas in there with interactive with
Yep.
your team and the certain levels in it and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're at least doing that.
They also have, like, for the revives themselves, they have an animation that takes a few seconds to complete, so you're not going to have, like, a revive train where you resurrect a guy and then he resurrects you as the other guy kills you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to be like that. So it does take time. So you have to, like, be a little bit more strategic about it.
And there'll be balancing for
Yep.
that and everything.
Interesting thing, little thing, but interesting. Ragdolls are server side now, so you can drag like a body that's downed, like, and it'll happen. It's not just local to the guy's console.
Okay.
So not only that, but it'll also affect the environment, it'll, like, push down grass or branches or stuff. So that's
Interesting.
kind of neat.
I'm sure we're going to see a lot of
Yep.
awesome glitches with that too.
Oh, absolutely.
You're gonna be dragging a body that's behind you, and
Right, it'll just
or
rubber bands.
It'll be flipping around in the air like a helicopter
Yep.
or something.
There's going to be bullet penetration through thin wood, sheet metal, and walls.
Good.
There's going to be destruction that explodes like directionally. So if there is a grenade inside a building, it'll blow all the windows out. If it happens outside the building, it'll blow all the windows in.
Nice.
And large non-fatal explosions can knock you over. So if you're in the area, but you're not like going to get
So
damaged,
they're gonna have like proper shockwave kind
Right.
of physics to it and stuff.
kind of neat. Movement's going to be more fluid. You can dive forward, backward, left, and right.
Can you run along walls?
You cannot run along walls. No. Any class can do a squad revive. We talked about that. It takes longer than medic revive, does not give health points. There are 4 classes: assault, medic, scout, and support. And you can add specialization trees like agility or flak armor or suppressive resistance, things like that. Apparently, the more you play a class, the more specialization and more archetypes within that class that you unlock as well.
Oh, so if you play a lot of assault, you'll get like an assault plus or an
Right.
assault whatever, like just different
different
variations
trees,
of it
yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, but the customizations are apparently where this shines. There's going to be a new character customization system called the Company, and all the characters in your company will be different. You can customize race, gender, face paint, jackets, pants, helmets, and hats. And what's interesting is the customizations, you're not just going to apply a skin and it affects everything.
Right.
Each individual piece you can skin differently. So you can
Really?
really get some customization.
That's
going.
awesome.
Yeah. And it will also, you can customize the weapons individually. So the weapons are broken up into 5 or more components like bayonets, sights, and stocks, and are going to have up to 7 different locations where cosmetic items can be applied too.
So are they going to have that type of thing where you can change like the butt stock on an assault rifle and then change the scope to like an iron sight or a scope
Right.
and like all that kind of stuff?
And you can customize all of the guys in your company differently.
That's awesome.
It is pretty cool. So the level of customization, it also extends to the player's vehicle garage, so you can have tanks and biplanes and skin them all differently and stuff.
Right.
And your company will span all game modes, so single player, co-op, multiplayer, everything. They've also confirmed, and this is where we get into
Wait,
the...
can I make my own like badge logo thing that they all wear?
I don't think they mentioned badges. We don't need no stinking badges. Too soon. All right. Hats, Team Fortress 2 lawsuit incoming, right? Can we choose pronouns? You can choose gender. Don't make something of this that it isn't.
They're not that nitpicky like
Yeah.
PUBG in the frying pan.
I think Janus Marine's getting all peppy in his old age. I'm just saying.
No, just go back to shaking your fist at those kids on
That's
your lawn.
right. Get off my lawn.
We'll join you in a minute.
There you go. Old man shakes fist at cloud. So here's the thing. They've confirmed that the game will not have any loot boxes. So before we break out the ticker tape parade, oh, EA has seen the light, blah, blah.
Right.
They've also said there aren't going to be season passes. You won't have to pay for maps or modes, nor will you be able to buy anything that affects gameplay. So, on the face of it, that sounds like a good thing. But if you take out the loot boxes, that's exactly the same statement they made for Battlefield.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
Battlefront, rather. So, okay, loot boxes are out. Great. They're still going to have the ability to purchase in-game currency. They're still going to have the ability to use that currency to buy customizations that are cosmetic only. But the in-game currency you can get are apparently tied to daily missions. Okay. So it sounds like there are going to be like a hard and fast limit on how much in-game currency you can earn through the game each day.
Of course, because they got to limit it so people don't farm it.
So you can't just grind it out by playing it hours and hours and hours, which I don't understand. It makes you play the game not longer, but over a greater period of time. Like you play like your hour, you do all your dailies, and then you fuck off, and they're okay with that, because it still keeps you coming back. Keeps, you can have events, you can have new things. You don't sell the game,
and you know what? That's the worst kind of model in my mind, because
it's like the mobile model.
If I bought that game, I'm not a person that does daily gaming. I don't have the time to do daily gaming. I'll plug in, a couple nights a week and then go in on the weekend, and they're just hurting it with that model, because they're forcing someone like me out, saying like, I've got all Saturday. I'm going to game for 10 hours today. Oh, I can only game for 6 hours today because they've locked it out.
Okay, but it's they've done it. It's kind of scummy and then kind of not, because your actual in-game progression, like when you're advancing up the individual classes and getting your archetypes unlocked, those you can still do. So your in-game progression has nothing to do with your customizations. So it's not like, oh, I can't do anything else today, I may as well not even fucking play this game. It's just that the customizations that you were unlocked, it incentivizes going out and spending $5 and getting the stuff you want, rather than grinding it out. Because I don't even know how much you're actually going to get from these daily unlocks, how much you're going to need for any of these pieces.
Oh, they've mathed the fuck out of that. Sure. It's going to be limited.
Right. You're going to have the chart, right, where it's like too much that it makes people angry, but, over time.
That fine line right
cost
in between.
Over time.
I don't know. It's just one of those things, like I think back to us playing Killzone 2.
Oh, yes.
And enjoying the shit out of the online of that, and feeling accomplished when you unlock stuff as you go along. And, And, just, it was so fun and more simplistic, and it didn't have all this fucking architecture in your way to stop you from trying to fucking enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And it's just such bullshit now.
Yeah, anytime you have a situation that artificially limits your progress to keep you playing the game for a longer period of time, and I am looking at you, Destiny.
Yeah, that's what Sean was talking about. It sounds like Destiny.
There you go. It sounds like Destiny.
Your default weapon is the rusty spoon. Good luck.
And, that would be fine if it was like a rusty spoon, like the shovel you get in Far Cry, where it's like the deadliest thing in the game. If I could stab guys in the eye with it, that's fine. But, in Destiny, at least, you could still gain experience. You had your dailies, you had your nightfalls, you had your raids and stuff. You could do those once a week. It would limit your access to the high-end raid gear, but you could still get other gear and stuff. You could still, build up your character. You could start a new character, whatever.
Yep.
This is... When we start getting into the monetization of it, it's... I don't know. It's better than Battlefront 2 was, but it's still pretty sleazy.
I know. And yeah, it ultimately just falls to that model I don't agree in. The whole locking out certain parts of the game, it's like you're not selling the whole game up front.
Right.
There's like, hey, this is your gateway drug, basically, and all the cool shit's back here.
Yeah.
But we'll only let you have a few things at a time. And when nobody's playing it next year, fuck you. That's
about it.
That's their model, and I fucking hate it.
And a year from now, all of your customizations are going to be worthless anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you mentioned it before. Let's circle around back to it, because J.S. Marine's crusty. The trailer also prominently featured not only a female soldier, but a disabled female soldier. So that set off all kinds of internet wonks, criticizing the move as like catering to the SJWs, catering to the diversity crowd.
Yeah.
And there's a certain argument there. There's a certain argument that, go fuck yourself as well. So there's a lot of mixed reactions. So a lot of people with certain reactions focusing on the wrong things. So they started posting to hashtag not my battlefield. And it never
and blue face paint.
Yeah, and blue face
because
paint.
Braveheart.
My culture is not your video game. Well, you know what? I mean, the people making the game want to put a fucking purple rhinoceros in it that floats, then, you know, I just won't play the game. But I don't see why that would impact my enjoyment of the game, someone else having an option to customize the game as it was. So anyway, despite this pointless backlash, EA DICE had to come out, you know, and talk about this and go back and forth and discuss it. But General Manager Oscar Gabrielson, he said on Friday, player choice and female player characters are here to stay. We want Battlefield 5 to represent all those that were a part of the greatest drama in human history. Our commitment as a studio to do everything we can to create games that are inclusive and diverse. We'll always set out to push boundaries and deliver unexpected experiences, but above all, our games must be fun. The Battlefield sandbox has always been about playing the way you want, like attempting to fit 3 players on a galloping horse with flamethrowers. That seems an oddly specific thing. They've done that.
I was going to say, that's probably, there's a very specific YouTube video out there of that happening.
I mean, that is something that came up in test, and they stuck with it. Anyway, so with Battlefield 5, you also get the chance to play as who you want. This is hashtag everyone's Battlefield. We will always put fun over authentic. This is what we've always done with Battlefield games. So, I mean, couple things.
Well, they're not lying when they put fun over authentic, because those guys that like jump out of a jet fighter, snipe someone in a tower, and land in the same jet fighter again, and just like take off. It's like,
no kidding. No, not even a little bit. But, you know, awesome.
Yeah.
and that they can do that not only like and capture it on film, but like do it multiple times. Like it is a thing that is done. So anyway, past Battlefield games, obviously not super realistic, but I mean, just in the concept of having women in the battlefield, a lot of people are like, oh, women weren't in World War II. And granted, they were not common. You know, you had a lot of people stateside building stuff.
Yeah.
You had a couple of whacks, you know, in the European theater. But you have to remember...
That's what Tron was talking about, welcome female soldiers on the Russian front and Russian pilots, since that could be accurate.
Well, I mean, that's absolutely true, right? But if you talk about resistance soldiers, you talk about the British soldiers, there were actually women serving, and there were a couple of examples that were given. Nancy Wake, who was a part New Zealander, part Australian, she joined the SOE and parachuted into Nazi-held France. She led Maquis cells, killed with her bare hands. And like Tron just brought up, Ludmila Pavelchenko.
Wow,
she was a
name.
Yes, she was a sniper in the Red Army. She's credited with killing 309 enemy soldiers. At least 309 enemy soldiers. Like she makes Ed Harris look like a fucking chump. I'm just saying. So there are women soldiers. Maybe they're not like every second guy on the field, obviously, but you know, no one says you have to be a woman in Battlefield if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm. It razzed them because she was so front and center, and it was just like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at, and it was that's what got people.
One fucking woman.
Yep. Oh no, there was other females, but it was that she's the prominent part of the trailer.
Well, it was that she was there at all.
Yeah,
you know?
and because it's showing my age. When I was a kid, my character was only 2 or 3 pixels, so representation never even factored into it.
There you go. I can't be an attack helicopter in this game, so it's not representing all people or genders. Well, sorry, I'm going to be racist here, but they didn't have attack helicopters in World War II. They weren't good enough! Back of the bus, attack helicopter. Anyway, Battlefield 5 released October 19th for PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I've lost track of the Battlefield thread. Like I was a Bad Company fan.
Yep, a lot of people were, because when this one came out, when they had released the trailer, I saw a lot of tweets going out, hey, remember these guys? And it had like the the guys there, and I was just like, that would be cool if they did another one of those.
That's the other thing.
But they're not going to make money like Battlefield and all those other ones.
But they do still have a single player campaign in this. It follows the same kind of vignette format they had in the Battlefield 1.
Right. Yeah.
But it is still there. It's not like
that's good. I'm glad that they kept it, because it doesn't take a lot extra to do that, because it's a thinly veiled story.
Right.
You know, it's still the ticket system. Like, you're just fighting a bunch of AI and stuff. I'm perfectly fine with that. Just leave it in. I'm glad that they did.
Yep. All right, couple of quick hits. There's been a new update to the Halo Master Chief Collection, which implements Microsoft's intelligent delivery system. Remember, we talked about that ages ago, where you can download stuff in pieces and only select the things you want.
The high-res textures and sound and like all that kind of stuff.
So it saves your hard drive space. It prevents you from downloading stuff you don't need. So it saves on bandwidth, the whole bit. So you can prioritize which stuff you want to download first, even. So if you wanted to play one game or whatnot. So they just patched that in. Bend Studios has been showing off a lot of Days Gone lately. There was a big spread in Game Informer. So even though that's been pushed back till 2019, it sounds like right now all they're doing is polish. So the game is done.
I would think so, because even with the 2019, like, we're almost halfway through the year. So they better be coming into, finishing it at this point.
And they've been showing it off a lot. So, I mean, you think about when Horizon... they pushed that back to March of the following year, and they showed it the E3 the year before, and prominently at PSX. So it's probably in that same sort of scenario. It's very.
I think it had gone like a gold after like a month after E3 or something like that.
No, I think it was more than that, because they still had a lot of polish after the fact, but it was like well in advance of, I think it was March or February or whenever it was. So they say. Right now we're just tuning and polishing. This is coming from game director and writer John Garvin. He also says that the release date should be announced before long, which you may as well, again, just say E3.
Yeah.
We're tuning and polishing. The open world team is working hard to get the number of ambient events dialed in. The mission designers are busy polishing every part of the game. We have engineers polishing the animation. We have the audio team going through and polishing up all the sound effects. Every part of the game is being polished. It's 100% playable, like I said. We've beaten it. We feel pretty good about where it's at, because now we can really pay attention to making it more fun and looking as good as it possibly can.
Oh, he didn't say polish one more time.
No.
There.
It's for enhanced engagement.
Yes, enhanced engagement, of course.
$300 million in April.
Fuck you, fork knife.
Yeah. So, and going back to Rage 2, if you're worried about Rage 2 having as lackluster a delivery as Rage 1, rest assured.
It looks like they're having more fun with it, so that helps.
Well, I mean, it looks like they're leaning a bit more into Borderlands and Mad Max.
Yes, absolutely.
So anyway, they literally tweeted out on the official Rage account on Friday, confidently, I might add, everything about #Rage2 is better than the first game. Everything, even the ending. So obviously they heard that complaint a lot.
Well, and again, that's a low bar for certain things,
very
though. But hey, as
bar.
long as they don't trip on that low bar, then yeah, it's gonna be better.
I mean, really, the first game wasn't bad. It was just like there were some good parts to it, but it needed like a crafting system, it needed a customization system.
It felt like if you took kind of like a Fallout Mad Max thing and then tore all the systems out of it.
Right.
And it was just like, just go from here to here and in this bleak environment.
But I mean, the good news is, right, all the experience you have with Mad Max and how close that was to being a very good game.
It was on that edge because of Avalanche,
it was
unfortunately.
Good.
They do certain things really, really well, and then not so well on other things.
Well, hopefully they fix their shit, because they're the ones making Rage 2.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see if they pull it off.
I'll give it a chance.
One more quick hit that I had noticed just reading today. Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be playable at E3.
Oh,
playable on the floor. So obviously it's going to be the like Toy Story section that we've seen all the videos of and everything. But that's a very big step forward from the past couple of years. We're like, don't worry, it's coming out. It's coming out. Oh, there might be a game trailer here. Or there might be a cinematic or something. It's like, no, it's actually going to be playable, which puts it a lot farther than we've had in past years.
One of these fucking days, I'm actually going to throw in Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and just,
like I said, just play 1 and 2. Just play 1 and 2. Watch that 20-minute video on YouTube of explaining everything in between, so you have a slight concept of what's happening. Because believe me, it's still confusing as shit.
I got the 1.5 for PS3. It was like the 3 games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it was like for $15 or $20 or some shit. So I'm not really out of any money if I don't really enjoy it. But we'll see. All right, so the big ticket.
John says everything's better. The disc's physical size is the same. Those liars.
Oh, the disc is rounder.
It's more round. It's 20% more round.
Exactly. It is chock full of 18% more linkativity. It is far more engaging. Anyway, so the big ticket. Sony had the Sony Interactive Entertainment had their Investor Relations Day on the 22nd, which was what, last Wednesday? I want to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Wednesday. Anyway,
close enough.
So there was a lot of information there and a lot of questions about new hardware that they dodged completely. Dodge. So, so the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, the new CEO, Tsuyoshi Kodera, sometimes known as John Kodera for those people who need to westernize their people, but Tsuyoshi Kodera, he gave a report during the Investor Relations Day. He talked about God of War. He has tossed this fact just into the mix, no fanfare or anything. Apparently, God of War has sold 5 million copies since its release.
Holy shit.
5 million copies. April 20th it was released. Already sold 5 million copies in the last month. That's amazing for a Sony first-party franchise.
There's not a lot of games that get anywhere close to that.
No, I don't remember the numbers on Horizon. I don't think Horizon made that.
No, I think they were in like a kind of 3 million, like 2.8 to 3 million range or something
respectable.
like that.
I mean,
Horizon
was
absolutely.
fantastic.
For an original IP,
Right.
again, locked to one system,
Yeah.
it was very, very impressive
Yeah.
showing. Whereas God of War had that steam going in because it's God of War.
Yeah, and it's, what, six games before that?
Yeah, I think so.
So
So
it's
it's
5, 6, 7?
it had a definite foothold,
Yes.
unlike
Agreed.
Horizon, which was a brand new IP.
Yes.
Oh, and XRA, yes, Agony does come out tomorrow.
Yes, it
that was
does.
in our Triple D at the start of the show, disc downloads and DLC. So yes, we are looking forward, or I'm looking forward to that one because it looks fucked up.
it really kind of evokes like a Hexen aesthetic.
Yeah, but not shitty. Hexen was not a great game.
Harsh. Back then, God of War tied with Fork Knife. Don't even start. Don't even start. Anyway,
Fork Knife is free to play. It's not even the same realm.
so a couple other interesting things. In the presentation, like you actually can go to the website and you can listen to the presentation. It's got like a PowerPoint that they go through. On the
Because it's very
PowerPoint,
corporate. It's
Right,
not.
oh,
It's not
it's-
for the fans.
no,
basically.
it's an investor relations thing, but
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of interesting nuggets to mine. That's why you see all these news bits coming out over the past week. So one of the things that I haven't seen anyone else touch upon, they're talking about their fiscal year 2018 strategy, and they have a panel of all the games that they had that they're like banking on revenue for in the coming year. So in the panel, they had God of War, of course, that just came out. Detroit just came out. Spider-Man's this summer. Death Stranding, who fucking knows? That
fucking
could be
2020 or
right.
something like that.
I mean, that might be on PS5 for all we know. The Show 18, that's this year. Days Gone is next year, but still fiscal
Right,
year
yeah.
2018. GT Sport, but the weird one, they had Horizon in there for fiscal year 2018.
But it came out in like February last year, didn't it?
Did.
What the fuck?
Maybe they're going to do other DLC. Maybe there's a sequel already being announced. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, but not in the fiscal year, though.
That's weird, right?
So I could see DLC way before any kind of sequel.
Okay, let me put it this way. If they're expecting... They have Death Stranding up there, I don't think it's unusual, right?
I guess so.
But
that's fair.
That says to me that there's going to be a Horizon Zero Dawn project, whether it's DLC, which I could absolutely see,
Yes.
or a whole sequel game.
I could easily see
in the
them
near
just
future.
doing some content that's not even like a full DLC pack, but like, you know, like what Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
did? They had storyline packs, but then they also had those
Yeah.
ones where it's like dungeons and costumes and weapons and stuff like that. Like, I could easily see them just putting some stuff out like that.
Maybe, but I can't see that highlighted to that level inside an investor relations call.
You know, when you sold 3 million units
I guess
or
that's
something
true.
around there, you're going to see some... Oh, here we got some stuff going on in the chat here.
Digital Fiasco Friday Night Agony Stream. No, Agony Stream is Thursday night, and it's shitty games. We're hoping that Agony is good.
Oh, and Tron's point was 5 million at $60 a piece is 300 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
get it. I
I
see
guess
what
to
you
be
did
fair,
there.
but they didn't sell.
Yeah.
They didn't sell 5 million units in
Yes.
April.
Yeah. Bear in mind that for that $300 million, they had to lay out however much for printing, for shipping, for everything else.
Yeah.
Whereas Fortnite is basically they turned the faucet on and let it run for the month of April, where they made $300 million. So anyway, Yeah, prequel Horizon Zero Dawn during the Swarm, but that would be sweet.
Oh, absolutely.
Or anything related to that. Like, that was just fucking chilling.
If they had a DLC pack that was like a 4-hour storyline that took place during the Swarm and all that stuff, I would be so on board with that.
I could I can't see it being anything less than a Frozen Wilds level expansion.
Right, because that's typically how they operate, too. They want to offer something that's worth getting.
Yeah. But even if they say, oh, yeah, 2020 Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or Horizon Subtitle
Unknown.
We
already know they're working on a second one.
No,
so.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a hugely popular and like new IP, like put Guerrilla on the map in a way that Killzone never really did.
Well, because Killzone was always competing with some kind of paramilitary shooter. Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn...
No.
There wasn't really...
It was competing with Breath of the Wild.
Well, that was basically it, and they were almost like night and day after playing both of them. So
I liked it better than Breath
I know you did, okay? You don't have to
I like Zelda. I own the game. I'm just saying. Anyway, a couple other things. Kadera said that PSVR continues to sell, but it's doing so less than the market forecast. So they had realistic projections for the PSVR. Then when it started to pick up, they kind of revised their projections upward. Looks like they're going to have to readjust their forecast. So it's trailing off, I think, a little bit faster than they were expecting. So they're aiming for a more realistic outlook and healthy growth in the business of the VR device. So they're not giving up on it yet. Especially with that Japan display, they're probably gearing for a PSVR 2.
Well, and that's kind of, that's the tricky part, is that it's kind of like, almost like the Xbox One XS, whatever.
Right. X?
That one. Trying to appease the people who have already bought it versus people who are considering buying it versus people who are waiting until the second iteration comes out, and how to handle that whole kind of marketplace in between.
I mean, we always knew we were the tip of the spear on VR, right? VR for the PSVR was... It's obviously a lot lower resolution than a Vive, but it's
like also by far the lowest price point you can buy into VR without just getting like a Samsung Gear or a Daydream or something like that.
You didn't need to buy a whole new PC to run VR effectively, and it was a nice entry-level experience. So now they need to follow that up. It's been, what is it? It'll be 3 years this November, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's worthwhile if they announce that, hey, next year... we're going to do PSVR 2. It's going to be better than this. It's going to be cheaper than this. It's going to be potentially lighter. That would be a pretty good thing for them.
Yep.
So they said gamers can expect more new IPs as well as franchising successful IPs and refreshing existing IPs. So like God of War, they want to revisit some of the IPs they have in their stable. I think now would be a perfect time to talk about Siphon Filter. Because Siphon Filter is one that people keep coming back to, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They had multiple games. Siphon Filter is a good IP that Sony hasn't mined in a while. Maybe Colony Wars. That would be a good one, too. That would be actually a great one for PSVR. We'll see. But let's go back to some of the stuff we have rather than developing brand new IPs, marketing existing and recognizable IPs. They say that they are now in a... They're in the twilight years of the PS4, which I don't think comes as a surprise to anyone. So they say the middle management period up to March 2021 will be a period for a breather in preparation for a bigger leap for PlayStation.
Of course.
So they actually put up a chart of all the years and all the consoles and where they lost money versus they made money. And you look at the PS1, right? They lost a bunch of money and they made some money. PS2, they lost a little bit of money and they made a whole shitload of money.
Yep.
And the PS3, they lost money like almost up till like the last year.
And all of a sudden it came back. Then.
Right. Like right at the very end when they started to finally win people over like who hadn't played Uncharted yet. And then the PS4, right? PS4, they go into I think they lost money in their first year and then every year since then they've made money. So it literally they have to spend money on R&D for a new console, and then theoretically that they amortize that over the life of the console, right? So right now they are in what they call the reaping stage, the fall. They want to harvest so that they can prepare for the next console.
Right.
So they're saying a lot of people were interpreting this that no, there's not going to be a PS5 until 2021, because that's what they're talking about. They're talking about support for the PS4. Post-launch of the PS5. So My original idea, way back when we were talking about PS4 Pro, like prior to the PS4 Pro launch 2 years ago, I was expecting 2019. We would hear something the end of this year, 2019, fall, we'll see a new console.
I figured 2019, because that puts you in the, 7 years?
It only came out like 2013, February we announced, fall we had the actual release. So that's only been, this year will be 5 years.
Okay. So
next year is 6 years. I think that's a little bit low. And I mean, I'm going to revise my prediction simply because the PS4, it was wildly successful. No one expected the PS4 to be, blow Xbox out of the market like it did. The Xbox One X did not make as big a ripple as a lot of people were expecting. So I think at this point, Sony's not going to go without Microsoft, and Microsoft's not ready to go.
They're basically, Microsoft, I think, is just going to sit on the systems they have right now. PlayStation has a healthy install base, and they're just going to ride on their trademark titles and just kind of bring out just more console exclusive stuff to keep people either coming to them or to just keep people buying games on their console until Microsoft and Sony are ready to battle it out again.
Because, I mean, at this point, it's too late in the game for the Xbox One X to turn things around, even if Crackdown 3 cures cancer. And
because that's literally one game.
And I mean, they might have other things in the pipe that we don't know about.
Well, I mean, they will. I mean, that's kind of the deal, is that you give them a console, you better fucking have games to play on it too.
So, so here's the thing. So I'm predicting now, instead of 2019, I'm predicting 2020. 2021, too fucking late. It's not going to happen. I'm predicting fall of 2020, and we're going to hear about it probably either E3 next year or PSX next year. And then they'll do like the whole reveal, the whole thing early in the year. But Microsoft, I don't think they can go until at least 2020. Like, after just releasing
you can't shove another system down consumers' throats like 2 years in again. Like,
they did it with the Xbox One, the original Xbox One. No, pardon me, the original Xbox. Like, it was 3 years before they released the 360 because they were coming in like the tail end of the PS2.
Yeah,
they didn't make enough of a dent, but people paid attention. Xbox 360, of course, was a fucking juggernaut in North America.
Yeah,
and largely in some parts of Europe. Sold a shitload. So, sold nothing in Japan. But
no, they were selling them as DVD players and stuff like that.
So the 360 went on forever, like 5-6 years. With the Xbox One, of course, they bungled that launch. The Xbox One X came out, tried to pick up the pieces. Not enough. They can absolutely, 2 years from now, say, oh, hey, or even like this year, pull the plug Xbox One X exclusive games, be that other mid-generation step that might push back Sony a little, but I don't think they are going to do that as like a full-fledged console. It's going to be their next Xbox 2 years from now.
It would be dangerous to shatter it even more than it is already. So yeah, I don't know. They're just going to wait to launch, because there's no point at this time being 2 years ahead in the game,
right?
Because the technology isn't far enough along, and it's too far before the other guy, releases his console.
Yep.
And then you do the 1 year ahead, which worked out obviously for the 360 at that time. But again, we're in a completely different kind of atmosphere for that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think they're going to be watching what each other are doing.
Yeah.
And they are going to launch around the same time.
Oh,
because that's about the only time you're going to get that healthy competition again.
Yeah. And there have been rumors already that PS5 dev kits are out there. I haven't heard anything.
They have to be, because there are games that come out on a new console, like on a PS4, like when it launched. There are devs that say, oh yeah, we've been working on this game for 4 years.
Well, at the same time, though, we're in a position where now, if the PS5 still uses the x86 architecture, we don't need to worry about like the PS3 to PS4 era, right?
No, of course not.
So
no, they're not going to take that gamble again.
Yeah.
They are going to stay on tried and true technology, not to screw over developers.
So I mean, we're looking at Death Stranding, we're looking at Ghost of Tsushima. Like, those might be PS5 titles. They're just going to scale.
Yeah.
Or they might be like, they'll scale and be on both.
And we've seen it on PS3 to PS4. We've seen it on PS2 to PS3. Obviously, a bit of a difference there, but still.
Like Goats of Sashimi. Yeah. So some other interesting things, like out of the blue things that I would not have expected to have heard. Kadira said, Portable gaming should be seen as an important part of the PlayStation ecosystem, adding that Sony is carrying out various experiments in the field. He hinted that the next console may be closely integrated with portable devices, but he says it's not yet the right stage to discuss specific hardware plans. They've already said they're not going to talk about hardware at E3. It's just not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
But he's saying, in my opinion, rather than separating portable gaming from consoles, it's necessary to continue thinking of it, portable gaming, as one method to deliver more gaming experiences and exploring what our customers want from portable. So he says we want to think about many options. So the possibility of a Vita 2 and having like that close integration with the system might be not so crazy. I mean, it's possible they might also go the other way and just do like hidden agenda, like all the PlayLink stuff.
I think it's going to fall more on that because I think they've learned their lesson from their pasts with PSP and the Vita and all that kind of stuff like that. Yeah. I think it's a much smarter bet to just go with smartphones. Everyone has one already. Yeah. You can obviously harvest a lot of money from that, a lot of game time, and there's great interactivity between games and console, like on cell phone or smartphones.
What about this? What if they had a portable device that was as powerful as a PS4 around the launch of the PS5, and they just played PS4 games? And instantly you have all the fucking catalog of the PS4.
I think it would be just kind of dangerous because, again, it's not so much that whole thing of like having two consoles and splintering your fan base, but it's you're eating your own lunch at that point because it's like you want to launch a system. You want everyone to buy into that. You don't want to give them any other excuse to say, oh, I don't have enough money.
Yeah.
I think it would be stupid to do that at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know what the timing would be. It might be post PS5 launch. But you think about that. If you had that, you're already supporting the PS4 for 2-3 years probably into the PS5's life cycle. So you could like incentivize developers for still developing there by saying, oh, it's going to continue on the whatever PS Vita 2.
Here's what I'm thinking instead, because he's mentioning mobile. He's straight up mentioning it, like saying, oh, we were thinking about it. It's like, no, he's like, they're definitely thinking about doing something with it. So I think that you are going to have a lifestyle type app that follows you around on your phone. You gamify stuff throughout the day so you can earn points and do all this other kind of stuff in that type of architecture.
Horrible.
No, but that is fine. That's fine because you can use it if you want. Sure. You don't have to use it if you don't want to because they already have a PlayStation app. You can talk to your friends through it. You can download games to your PS4 that's at home and everything. They'll have all that functionality, but they'll have some of that kind of, fun basic stuff that you can play around with it in to make it just more fan friendly.
Sure.
And then they're going to have a powerhouse of a console that is PS4 backwards compatible. I think that is the best outcome.
Backwards compatibility,
I think that's the best outcome that they can get because you have a unit that everyone has in a smartphone. You give them access and abilities on that smartphone that also speak to your PS5, and then you make it so that everyone that either didn't buy into PS4 or had a PS4 and is missing those games can then play on their next console too. That way you're bringing everything to a head and you're not leaving anyone out, and you're only expecting them to buy one thing at that point.
Yep. So you never know. That could be it. Like they invested a lot in PlayLink. They bought that. They set up all those games with it. It's possible. That's all it is.
Just seeing stuff like Hidden Agenda and the Jackbox series and stuff like that. There's a lot of game to be played there. We just need the developers to start picking up on it because again, everyone has a smartphone. Everyone like these games are very fun in a party atmosphere, and I want to see more of it.
But it looks like they actually are working on the hardware already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because website Phronix has uncovered evidence that Simon Pilgrim, who is a principal programmer at Sony, he's actually on the Advanced Technology Group. He's working with AMD's Ryzen technology, which is a chipset that is not used in any Sony products currently. So he's doing a bunch of stuff with the LLVM compiler stack, which is a key component of a tool that's used in the PlayStation 4 development environment. But he's actually apparently he's made a bunch of commits to this GitHub over the past few weeks, specifically for this architecture. So he's improving the development tools for a processor that none of Sony's products uses. So that tells me that they're trying to put the middleware in place to make it easier on developers, and that the first generation Ryzen chipset is going to be the guts of the new PlayStation 5.
Right.
The fact that they're doing this now, that tells me, it does sound like backwards compatibility is like on the menu, which I think would be obvious.
It was a big miss on PS4, but
they
not
didn't have
their
a choice,
fault.
right?
They didn't have a choice.
Oh, it was their fault, but not that way.
Yeah, not in that way. But anyways, it was a big miss on PS4, so they're not going to let that get away on PS5.
Yeah. No, I mean, everyone saw how well it did on the Xbox. Like, you saw games like 5-10 years old getting a big resurgence, like Red Dead Redemption in 4K. But I would love to play Red Dead Redemption in a higher resolution.
And it's not always about doing a full remaster or making it look fucking amazing or whatever. It's about just bringing it to the current console so that somebody that either used to love the game or had never played the game before can experience it on their current console.
Ixarain says your PS4 is a lemon. It keeps turning itself on and off. That's weird. Do you have like maybe a short or something? If it's still under warranty, send it back. I had a good experience with. I don't understand what people have bad experiences. Maybe it's in the States, it's different, but
it could be that, or they just get that one person that doesn't fucking like their job, and they just make it hell for everyone else.
The only time I had an issue was with my PS3. It had an issue with downloads, and the guy said send it back and we'll replace it. Turns out it was a like a setting in the network that he didn't diagnose properly. So Sony refunded me the cost of the refurbishment and sent me a free game.
Oh, nice.
So it was kind of a pain in the ass, but I got a bunch of free shit out of it. So and a newer console at that.
And maybe Kill Destroy's poking the bear, saying, "How about a virtual console?"
Oh, I wish there was. So you know what time it is?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's time to press select on the options menu with a trial by fire.
Yeah, that's what I figured, because you didn't ask me what the trial or what the options menu was today, so I was like, okay, I'm walking into this.
Yeah. Actually, I had put this together in the last 5 minutes. I had texted you. I was gonna say as you walked in, hey, you got to think of something right away. Chop, chop.
Yeah.
But you were here fairly late, so I didn't have a chance to set up the thing. So the options menu is a series of rotating questions that we talk about various topics, one of which is the trial by fire, which doesn't come out very often, but when it does, it's usually an ambush. It's usually terrible.
An ambush of questions.
Yes, ambush of questions. Now, these are basically kind of like your Family Feud style situation, except related to video games.
Show me potato salad.
Ding!
8-bit potato salad.
Yep. So, you ready?
I hope they're not too hard. My brain not function well now.
60 seconds on the clock.
Oh, God.
We're not going to actually give you 60 seconds. But as quickly as you can. You ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Shoot.
100 gamers surveyed. Name the most recognizable video game building.
Most recognizable game building?
That's right.
Is it an actual developer?
I'm just asking you, what is your opinion? These are all your opinion.
Oh, okay, no, because you said the 100 people.
Just saying.
Okay, I didn't know if you grabbed them from somewhere else.
What 100 people am I asking these fucking questions?
You might have found them online or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm going to go on Fiverr and just 100 people answer my fucking survey. That would be hilarious.
You know what? Honestly,
fuck you, Tron.
I'm
go.
asking if it has to be a developer because honestly,
no, not a developer. I'm just about a game, like a location in a game.
A location in a game.
Yeah, from a video game.
Okay, well, because I was honestly gonna say
like Nintendo head office. Or something?
No, I was actually gonna say the convention center in LA where you see E3 every year. Because as soon as I see that building, I recognize it right the fuck away. Honestly, if you're talking about in a video game
and time, go ahead.
Peach's Castle from Nintendo 64.
Peach's Castle.
Yeah, because you see it used again and again and again. And that's become kind of like the staple for the games thereafter.
Yep. Name the worst designed Mega Man boss.
Oh God.
From anyone.
I think it would have to be.
You want to pass and come back?
Oh, hang on. Wait. I just need to double check.
Oh, you're lucky we're not on the timer.
Of course.
How's it going, folks?
I don't ask to time yours, so.
You should. It might make it more interesting.
Oh no, it's not that one. Shit. Sorry.
Don't look.
Keep them busy.
Don't look, but Maim Kill Destroy has the correct answer.
Oh, what?
Don't look.
Is it?
You had one fucking job.
I know Woodman is terrible, okay?
Yes.
I know he's terrible.
Well.
Damn it. I can't find it. Why the fuck?
Pass.
Fine, I will pass.
Okay. Name an action game that would make an excellent tactic strategy game.
What?
Like Final Fantasy Tactics. You take an action game.
Okay.
Like Devil May Cry.
Okay.
Make an excellent tactic strategy game.
Actually, that
You want to pass on that one too? You can come back.
Yeah, I'm like just drawing so many fucking blanks right now.
Name a Nintendo character that should be in Smash Brothers but isn't.
I think Toad needs his time in the sun.
Toad. I would love to see Toad.
He's been
especially he's got the voice.
He's been severely missing.
I'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Name the worst video game controller to pass if you swallowed it.
Oh God. I'd have to go with the OG Xbox controller.
Ooh, the Duke.
Because that would literally be like passing a cinder block.
That would be ironically like a good Duke. All right. If you ate Kirby, what flavor would he be?
Oh, he'd be bubblegum.
Bubblegum?
Like
Makes sense.
double bubble, like that gross like mint bubblegum
Sure.
kind of thing.
It has like that chalky exterior.
Yeah.
Okay. Name the Disney movie that Sora should never visit.
That he should never visit?
Never.
Probably, oh, no, let's see here. I'm trying to think of ones that he did visit that I wouldn't have gone to anyways, like Pinocchio or something like that.
Terrible.
I don't know, probably just out of like sheer boringness. Oh wait, no. Song of the South.
Song of the South.
I was like, Disney movie, right. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if you don't know what Song of the South is,
yeah, no, it's a good answer.
Watch out when you go look it up.
What video game franchise would you like to see a Law and Order spin-off of?
Oh my God. Let's go with Mega Man, Maverick Hunters.
Law and Order Mega Man.
Well, Law and Order Maverick Hunters, yeah.
Okay.
It's the behind-the-scenes stories of hunting down the rogue Mavericks.
Okay. In the video game name the video game character you would least like to have as your golf partner.
Toad.
Again.
Yours a 3-1. Like, just that would be terrible. Having him fucking yammer on about that shit.
Yep. Finish the sentence. Solid Snake could kick your ass using only his blank.
If it was Solid Snake, probably his big toe.
Okay. Going back, name the worst designed Mega Man boss.
Okay, so I found it. It's Top Man.
Top Man.
Yes. He wears roller skates.
Not great. Not great. Name an action game that would make an excellent tactics strategy game.
Oh, you know what? Oh, no, wait. I couldn't say Metal Gear because they already had Acid, which was basically that. Let's see. You know what? Let's go with one of my favorites, Vanquish.
Vanquish.
I think that could have some really
with
cool
the big bosses and stuff.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
But you have like a squad instead. Like you have like a couple of powered up armored guys and whatnot.
So let's go through the list. Name the most recognizable video game building. You said Peach's Castle.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else have another answer? Slippy has another excellent.
Yeah, Slippy and Baby Mario would be terrible.
Yeah.
For caddies.
Yeah. Most recognizable video game building. I would actually, like Mario. That's a good one, like the Mario Castle.
Yeah.
Or the Resident Evil Mansion.
Oh yes, yeah. Or even the police station in the second one.
Oh yeah,
I definitely that is burned
Raccoon
into
City.
my memory. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember that stupid live action thing with running through the field. All right. So, name the worst designed Mega Man boss. You said Top Man. That's acceptable.
Do you want to see him?
No, I remember Top Man.
Yeah, because that's...
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Look him up at home, guys. It's, not a great design. Well, next to Woodman, of course.
Yeah, with his leaf shield.
Yes.
Come on.
I'm sorry. He's not made of metal. He's going to die.
So, excellent action game that would make it, or an action game that would make an excellent tactics strategy game. You said Vanquish. That's also a good answer. I would have said Armored Core.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I'd almost feel like
it's kind of Front Mission.
Yeah, or Front Mission. Yeah.
But Front Mission hasn't been around for a while, and Front Mission wasn't as...
They were walking tanks. They weren't very mobile, like, like...
Some of them were.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought they were more...
A lot of them were heavy, but yeah.
They were more like Mech Warrior kind of thing.
But no, they weren't like straight up anime flipping around nonsense. And like their customizations were basically like legs, arms. You had 4 things.
Hello, Toxic999. Welcome to the chat.
Hey, Toxic999.
We're literally just going over our answers for the Trial by Fire, which is just a random assortment of questions that Jack has just asked me.
Exactly. The 100 gamers surveyed. Not really. Name a Nintendo character that should be in Smash Brothers but isn't. You said Toad.
I think, yeah, Toad needs his time in the sun. Like, I think he was an item in one of the games or something. Like, you would, like, throw him or he showed up for something, but he's never gotten, like, to actually be a fully fledged character, and I think he'd be awesome and annoying.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Kirby.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say?
What was that?
The dog from Duck Hunt.
He's in there.
As a character.
He is a character.
Is he?
Yes. Duck Hunt Dog is in the newest Smash Brothers.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
Well,
he is a fully fledged character in the newest Smash Brothers game.
No points for that answer then.
Funky Kong. Yeah, he'll just be a skin.
Kong.
He'll be a skin for Donkey Kong.
Terrible. Terrible.
Except he'll ride a surfboard.
All right. Name the worst video game controller to pass if you swallowed it. You said the original Xbox controller. That's a good answer. I would have said N64 because it's like
it's pronged.
It's basically.
It's also very smooth, so I don't know.
I don't know about that. It's wide.
It is wide. It's not as wide as the OG Xbox controller. Plus, I think just like with the OG Xbox controller, it is just such a massive piece of equipment and weighs so much.
Well, then you could have just gone like Atari Jaguar and been done with it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, see? Not great.
More corners on that.
All right. If you ate Kirby, what flavor would he be? You said bubblegum.
Yeah, straight up bubblegum. I mean, I can't think of anything else than bubblegum.
I would modify that, and it's the bubblegum flavoring that you get like dental cleanings.
Oh, yeah, so it's like chemical tasting
like
almost.
Chemical bubblegum.
Yeah.
That's what I pictured. So you were kind of in the same mind as me.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dreamcast kind of on the same...
Oh, Dreamcast also.
The same realm as the OG Xbox. It's a very large controller. It's got pointy corners on it and everything. Would not be great either way.
I think it was just the fork aspect.
Yeah.
Plus it has the stick right up top. Ugh. Oh, right. And it's got the memory card thing at the bottom, so it's like wide and...
Yep, not great.
Hurts my anus just thinking about it. Okay. Name the Disney movie that Sora should never visit. You said Song of the South. Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
I personally would have said Flubber.
Was that a Disney movie?
It was.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was the Robin Williams remake
of
the Nutty Professor,
I didn't know it was a Disney product. Because before I thought of Song of the South, I was thinking of like just the sheer boredom that you would have with the Aristocats. Because that was not a great movie other than it being classic.
Oh, thank you, Toxic 999.
Toxic 999, thank you very much for the follow and welcome. Unfortunately, we are almost done for the night, but hey, we're here every Monday night.
Yeah, so, we started a bit early today.
Yeah. Technically, we're on from 8 to 10 Central. So
speaking of which, granted, since we started late, I think after we shut the stream down, you can give me a 5-minute break. I probably will play some Metal Gear 5.
Oh, nice. Yeah, diving on that on the PC.
Yep. Thank you, G2A. Anyway, so, you know what G2A made in April? $300 million. No.
Probably more than that.
Probably. All right. So, what video game franchise would you like to see a Law & Order spin-off of? You said Maverick Hunters.
Yeah, Mega Man Maverick Hunters.
I can see that. Dead Space.
Law &
Order Dead Space.
Would you have like a necromorph like on the stand and like half the... half the jury is like necromorphs and stuff.
It would be kind of like watching Carnival. Half the time you would know what the fuck was going on.
Oh, no kidding!
Shit would come out of nowhere.
It would be like a fucking Twin Peaks or something. Like
it would
that.
always end like C-Lab 2020 with everything blowing up and it just resets next week. That would be a weird show to watch.
Oh yes,
but I would watch the shit out of it.
Yep. They could definitely do almost anything they wanted with it because it'd be fucking weird.
Very true. In the video, name the video game character you would least like to have as your golf partner. You said Toad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the obvious one. I would least like to have as my golf partner Tyrant from Resident Evil. That would not be a good golf game. You never know.
He might be a really good golfer.
I strongly doubt that.
He doesn't use clubs. He uses giant claws to swat the ball. Yeah. Tears up the course every time.
Yeah, look, you just have to... How many divots would you have to fucking step on?
Yeah, you're sitting there like, line up your shot and all of a sudden you're like... 9 iron.
Yeah, no.
Fuck. All right. Okay, just don't hurt me.
Can you imagine being that guy's caddy?
Oh, God.
All right, finish this sentence. Solid Snake could kick your ass using only his blank, and you said toe.
Yep.
I said cardboard box.
His cardboard box. Yeah.
It's thematically appropriate.
Yeah, very much so.
Probably true. That was it, gentlemen. That was Trial by Fire for another week. So that has been our show. This is Digital Fiasco, episode 29. We are actually rolling right along nicely. Episode 30 will be our pre-E3 show.
Yep.
And
actually, yeah, that works out well for the timing.
It does. So it's somewhat of a milestone. And yeah, E3 will be not next week, the week after, and it's going to be excellent. So hopefully you all will tune in for that. We've already talked about what our schedule are going to be for the shows we're going to cover, and it should be excellent. We have some special guests in the studio.
Absolutely. Always look forward to it. Like, not just the guests, but, you know, just it's E3. This is our Super Bowl, so...
It is. It is. I mean, it's going to be a little bit lackluster because we are going into year 5, year 6. You know, we're not going to see any major announcements. But
hey, we're always looking for those new IPs or just, you know, remasters that we didn't see coming, that type of thing. So.
You know what I'd like to fucking see is maybe a date on Ace Combat 7.
Yeah, I know.
I can play that in
chomping
VR.
at the bit for that one. So.
Like, motherfucker, it's been years. Like, where's my Ace Combat, goddammit, Namco? And better yet, where are my PS2 to PS4 Ace Combat 4, 5, and 0? Money.
They just don't care about you, man.
God damn it. God damn it. All right, so that's been our show. If you like what we do here, please tell your friends and fellow gamers. You can reach us if you want to ask any questions or comment on what we do. You can reach us on Twitter at @digital_fiasco, or you can reach us on our website at digitalfiasco.wtf. Yeah, so I guess next week we'll be back at a regular time, 8 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow we'll be back with Comic Sans. I don't know who is actually on the show tomorrow. It might be me, and it might be Albel.
I thought Claytoon was in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's figure that out.
I'm just behind the scenes. Like, they're the ones actually setting people up.
You'll just have Albel sitting out here in an empty chair, and you'll just yell at him from the director's space.
No, if it's just Albel, I'll be in the chair. You know, we'll set the whole thing up. But I want to actually have a discussion about Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Since they didn't have a chance to do so last week. So, and not only that, things like The Expanse coming back, things like Westworld being crazy nuts.
Of course.
That all that stuff tomorrow on Comic Sans at 7 p.m. Central Time. So that's been our show. This is episode 30. If you will stick around for 5-10 minutes or so, we'll get some...
Just gotta get your shit together and get it switched over so you're
shit
in the pit over there.
Put it in a backpack. Yeah, get set up for the stream. We'll be doing some Metal Gear 5, just solo streaming. But thank you for everyone for watching tonight. Thanks for the new folks for coming in. We appreciate it. And thank you, Ixarain, for dropping by, as well as... who was it before? Go
back up there.
Oh, the other guy who followed us.
Toxic 999.
There it is, Toxic 999. You came in a little bit late, but you can stick around and hopefully
stick around or come back next Monday if you like this kind of thing. Then yeah, we do it every Monday. So.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm not even going to attempt to say it, but
I am
thanks.
absolutely going to try and say it.
I hope you had a nice time, and Jack's gonna.
Dennis Cafe
Fakete.
Cafe Cate.
Either way,
Dennis
I like
Cafetic.
it. Thank you very much for joining us. Follow if you want to know when we go live. If not, we'll be here next Monday anyways at 8 Central. So
have a good night, folks. Metal Gear, 10 minutes or so.
Okay.